And welcome back to the Camping World Kickoff, presented on ESPN by National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. A very tasty collision here in Orlando between an ACC and an SEC heavyweight. It's not Doak Campbell Stadium, but it feels a lot like it. As you see, Osceola aboard Renegade, ready to fire the spear in the ground. Ole Miss ranked number 11 preseason, and Florida State ranked number 4. Serious challenge for both these programs. I think we're glad, the fans are glad they chose to take on the challenge here tonight. Kirk, there are so many storylines. Let's begin though with perhaps the star in this game, Dalvin Cook, healthy and ready to go. He played hurt last year and still had a monster year.
Yeah, that's important because to look at him right now, he looks like he might be 10, maybe 12 pounds heavier. Pure muscle. Looking at him on the field before this game, and you're right, he's moving around a lot better. First thing that a great back has patience. You'll see that tonight from Dalvin Cook on their stretch play, and he's liable to find a hole anywhere because with that patience, he has outstanding vision. And if you're a Florida State fan, you know what I'm talking about. He a lot of times will take that play, take the ball on the play side, and he'll find a hole all the way to the backside. It's something that Ole Miss is very concerned about with young safeties in this football game. And the last thing he has is tremendous quickness and burst. Here the safety comes over a little bit late, gets a stiff arm, shows you the power that he has. This is early last year against Clemson. Even with that hamstring, he still takes it all the way to the house. So tonight, if you're Ole Miss, you have to load up and take your chances at the line of scrimmage to try to negate him. With a freshman quarterback in Francois, you want to try to put the game on his shoulders. You can't let number 4 beat you, which means you have to be gap sound, and you can't give up any easy ones.
Gap sound, one of those football cliches. What it means is you make one mistake, gone. And number 4 is gone. Right. The better he runs tonight, the easier it makes it on Deondre Francois, the redshirt freshman quarterback, making his college debut right here in his hometown. Samantha Ponder, field side, with more on him.
Yeah, Chris, it's hard to hear you because it feels like a Noles home game, but I'll tell you about Deondre Francois. They know he has all of the physical tools. He's won over the team in practice. The big question Jimbo Fisher told me he has is how does he handle the mental side of this, the big stage? So they contacted a guy who never shies away from the big stage. Cam Newton, Carolina Panthers quarterback, gave Deondre a phone call this morning, and they talked for a long time about staying in the moment, not letting this get too big, and of course from Cam, always keeping a smile.
And trusting the process. Well, the Noles won the toss deferred, and another freshman, Logan Tyler, will boot it away to Carlos Davis for the Rebels. And it'll be a touchback. So, Kirk, we're going to see Chad Kelly, the senior, out of Buffalo. Of course, the nephew of Jim Kelly, came here by way of Clemson, where he was dismissed, and he's made the most of his time.
Another guy that took advantage of the offseason. They say he's one of the most dedicated in the weight room. You'll see his tremendous arm strength tonight. It really opens up Hugh Freeze as a play caller. Creativity. When things break down, he has the feet to make you pay for that. And then the toughness, the physicality to be able to show you he can sit in that pocket or take hits. He's done it from Alabama last year, all the other SEC defenses, and he'll have to do it tonight against Florida State.
They hope not too many hits, because I think he may be the most crucial player in college football. There's just no experience behind him. It will not feel like a neutral game for Kelly in that offense.
You see 5 receivers in the game, and they have stretched him sideline to sideline.
Kelly rolls, takes a shot over the middle, and it's underthrown, incomplete. Marcus Lewis was in on the coverage against Evan Ingram.
What they want to do is create tempo, and the way Chad Kelly does that, and they're already going to go tempo right now. It's kind of an equalizer against the athletic ability of Florida State.
Short completion on the far side, muscling for 6 yards is Ingram, and it'll be 3rd down.
Good look at Derwin James, one of the more talented players in the country. Number 3, he'll be very active and doing a lot of different things.
Kelly well protected, loops the ball to a wide open man, A.J. Brown, the true freshman from Starkville, rumbling into Florida State territory. The huge recruit out of the Bulldogs' backyard makes a big play.
We just talked about tempo. Look at Florida State. James is coming over. You also see Lewis coming over. Nobody's behind. They completely lost him in coverage. This is what tempo can do to you, and a lot of different looks. They had 5 wide receiver look. They're attacking, and if you don't communicate and make sure you're on the same page, you're going to bust coverage, and that's exactly what Florida State did there.
They got 36 yards. Kelly fires again, far side, and slipping, and then being hit after the play and drawing a flag from Derwin James is Van Jefferson, the redshirt freshman receiver. And a mental mistake, an emotional mistake by one of the best players in the country.
He's an emotional guy. It wasn't necessarily a fierce hit, but Jefferson is down. He was down almost over a second once his knee hits, and right there you got to let up. You just got to let up. Comes through. That's going to be a dead ball personal foul.
Brad Van Vark, the Big 12 referee, will make the call.
Really looked like he accelerated into him there.
Play was over. Unnecessary roughness. Defense number 15 yards. Automatic first down.
Exactly what you have to guard against on an opening night.
Yeah, and it feeds right into what Chad Kelly is trying to do. Again, tempo, deception, creativity. They want this athletic, big, powerful, strong Florida State defense on its heels. They don't want them to have a chance to be able to dig in and come after this offensive line.
Akeem Judd is the back to the right of Kelly, but the quarterback keeps it and now throws it to Ingram down inside the 5, takes a big shot, holds on, but it'll be 1st and goal.
They brought him over in motion. He got lost in coverage. The linebacker that time, Hoskins, did not pick him up. He's all alone. Great poise by the quarterback Kelly to wait until he got open.
1st and goal. Handed off inside. It's the first running play called tonight, and it is Akeem Judd, the 230-pounder, a senior who will have to be productive at that position. They like his physicality.
See, he wants tempo, tempo, tempo. He's trying to get Chad Kelly ready to go. And Chris, red zone execution for both teams. Touchdowns versus field goals.
Kelly, slant, caught, touchdown, DeMaurier Stringfellow. And the Rebels strike in less than 2 minutes.
Well, that's the way you draw it up for Ole Miss. Great drive. Remember Laquan Treadwell, how big he was, often isolated by himself. Here, it's Stringfellow's turn. He's a big receiver at 6'2", 211 pounds. He's got to win one-on-one battles himself. He gets to the inside of McFadden, the corner, and a good throw by Kelly up high where he can make a play on the ball. Great execution.
Gary Wunderlich knocks the extra point through. Stringfellow, one of those guys that has to answer the question, can he be the featured receiver? He was a huge recruit, went to Washington and transferred here, sat out. This is the 2nd year with the Rebels, and it's off to a good start.
But when you lose your top 2 receivers to the NFL, Laquan Treadwell, who is one of the best maybe to ever play for Ole Miss, and Cody Core, who is also quietly a great, actually in the NFL himself. You lose your top 2, it's time for Stringfellow to step up. Attaboy Joe has to step up, and then some of the younger guys. Van Jefferson is going to get a chance. A.J. Brown, a true freshman. D.K. Metcalf. But I don't think Hugh Freeze could have imagined a better scenario than getting the ball and driving down that quickly and putting a touchdown up on the board. Minute 46, 6 plays, 75 yards.
Yeah, and aided by that personal foul on James. So here comes Deondre Francois, played his high school ball at Olympia High School here in Orlando, then went to IMG Academy where he was tutored by Chris Weinke, of course the ex-Noles Heisman Trophy winner, and you couldn't script it better. He's back in his hometown where he played high school ball, where they played their spring game for his debut, but he's down 7-0.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have scripted that.
No, and we've seen a lot of freshman quarterbacks play over the last few nights in this opening weekend, and the last game of the weekend, Francois gets his chance.
Nathan Noble is a kickoff specialist, his 4th year doing that. It's a very short boot, fielded on the right side of the Noles. Make it out to the 29-yard line, and that's where Deondre Francois will take over. Of course, Sean McGuire's injury opened the door for Francois, who had a pretty spectacular spring. Can he earn the trust of his teammates in a game situation the way he has in practice?
Well, he has all the physical tools. He's got to play with tremendous poise, and they're already down 7-0. You and I were on the field prior to the game, and we've seen him throw, but to see him in person, it gives you a whole different perspective. Big arm, again, everything you would want, but how does he do when he's out there and he's seeing coverages that aren't the same that he would see throughout the month of August against his own defense?
Yeah, he really does have extraordinary arm talent, as the coaches say. The ball just explodes out of his hand. Dalvin Cook deep in the I formation. He is knocked down after a 1-yard gain by Myles Hartsfield, a true freshman starter.
That's the matchup. That's the matchup, is the safeties. They're breaking in young safeties, true freshman safety in Hartsfield. He's heard all summer about going up against Dalvin Cook. He's been challenged by his coaches if he's going to be sound against that run game. That time he did not hesitate at all and lowered the boom that time on Cook. Rudolph sets up this 3rd down and short. He's trying to get him settled into the game. Nice call there on his first throw of his career to roll him away from potential pressure.
Cook barrels for a 1st down up near the 45.
It's going to be a battle up there in the trenches. If you like physicality and you like to watch games, you're going to hear some pads popping. That's what you're going to see when Florida State has the ball, because they're not going to shy away from running Dalvin Cook. They're going to challenge you to fit your gaps every single time because they trust his vision. That time Woods, another young player, did a nice job of filling up the hole, but it was after the 1st down for the Noles.
Francois fakes it to Cook and takes a downfield shot. Jump ball was Whitfield going up against Ken Webster. Noles fans wanted a flag. And Webster is still down.
Looked
like
like
a concern, a starting corner.
Yeah, oh, the way he came down right away, he grabbed his left leg.
He's not a guy, Kirk, that teams usually challenge. They don't usually throw it against him.
He's the best cover corner. But Jimbo is telling us, watch the left leg when he comes down after going up into the air. Right there.
Looking after Ken Webster. We'll take a timeout.
The 2016 Camping World Kickoff is presented by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and in part by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA.
Brad Paisley follows us around, our buddy on Labor Day games. He was in Blacksburg last year when the Buckeyes and Hokies hooked up. He was last night in Orlando. Game day guest picker, alumnus.
He loves college football. And his dad's a big West Virginia Mountaineer fan.
Midway 1st quarter, it's been a very fast start for the Rebels. He flew down the field and scored on the opening possession. Deondre Francois and the Noles offense tries to get settled in. It's Ingram motioning. They give it to Judd. Nothing doing. Jacob Pugh, the linebacker, grabbed him.
See how Chad Kelly responds after throwing that interception to Derwin James. Noles defense, that's what they want to do, is win 1st down and get this offense to 2nd and obviously 3rd and long.
On 2nd and 10, another inside handoff, and now Kelly's going to face 3rd and long. Derek Nottie made the tackle there as the Noles bring plenty of talent back on their side of the ball.
And they're going tempo. Let's see if they can catch Florida State off guard here.
Kelly flushed, keeps it again. This time will be slammed down well short of the 1st down. So a 3 and out forced by the Seminole defense.
That time they were ready for it, making adjustments on the sideline. You could almost see Jacob Pugh that time just spying Kelly, using the sidelines as leverage, coming up with that tackle there in space. Nice job by Pugh, now a junior at 6'4", 230 pounds.
There's a variety of punters at Ole Miss, and this is Gary Wunderlich, who also does the kicking duties. Bobo Wilson waiting deep for the Noles. Nice high kick, and Bobo makes a fair catch at the 31-yard line. Kirk, Bristol, Tennessee. The battle at Bristol, presented by Wells Fargo, the Hokies and the Volunteers. Reese will join you in the booth next weekend. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, looking forward to it. I've seen some pictures with the field on the inside of the Motor Speedway, and there's Danica Patrick, who's...
She can give you a tour.
She could.
Yeah. Danica on the Ole Miss sidelines wearing red pants tonight. 150,000 fans, is that they're saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're saying the seats actually look really, really good for next week. So I'm excited to see that.
How does the booth look for you?
I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of a distance.
It was Jameis Winston. It was about 4 years ago that he was in this position, debuting as a redshirt freshman on Labor Day. All he did was go 25 for 27. By the way, there's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Noles after the fair catch. Wow, the second mental mistake, major penalty, backs him up to the 17. Cook gets the edge, but not much there. Sam?
Yeah, I just saw the Ole Miss defensive coaches encouraging their guys on defense, but saying don't fall asleep with all the screens and all the short stuff. They're going to take some shots. Be ready for it. Also telling Ken Webster's replacement, now that he is officially out with a knee injury, Carlos Davis, hey, if you need some time to rest, come off the field. They know he's doing a lot, including special teams, and they got some freshmen they really like back there.
They've held Dalvin Cook in check, just 8 yards in his first 4 carries. Francois, slant, caught, first down and more. Bobo Wilson darts across the 40-yard line.
Well, this is a great call here. They're blitzing, but they have a cushion with these corners. With that cushion, you get the ball into the hands of Bobo Wilson. He can make one guy miss and pick up some yards. Look at the hit here right after the throw on the freshman Francois by Brown. Close to being late.
275-pounder knocking down the freshman. Another short delivery, trying to get Cook as many touches as they can, and he makes a nice gain just short of the marker.
It accomplishes 2 things there if you're Jimbo Fisher calling these plays. Number one, there's simple throws, high percentage throws for your quarterback who you're still trying to kind of get started in the football game. So that's good. And the other thing is you get the ball to Bobo Wilson the play before, makes people miss, picks up for a first down. You get the ball obviously to Dalvin Cook, whether he's running or throwing in space, he'll make a guy miss and pick up another first down.
And spotted it right in midfield, so they do move the chains. Dalvin Cook, they fake it to him. Francois with a flag down, takes off and is dropped. That was in the pit there. Benito Jones, another talented true freshman on this defense, pressured him.
Yeah, they're going to call another hold here in the center. Eberle. He already got called for one earlier.
Holding, offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty, replay first down.
They called it on the right tackle, Leonard, but watch.
Either one of them.
You could pick either one. Eberle's having a hard time with the interior of the Ole Miss defense. He's in the middle, 54, who just kind of brings him down there. A nice tackle, but they called it on the right tackle, who's also having a tough time tonight against that speed, and that's Rick Leonard. But right when Florida State had some momentum with a couple first downs, they get pushed back.
4 penalties for 50 yards already. Rebels have yet to be flagged. This is Cook on a delay and dragged down after a short gain by DJ Jones.
Gives you an idea how fast DJ Jones is. Talking about 321 pounds. trying to chase down Dalvin Cook from behind, and he did it successfully.
He squats 700, got a 31 vertical. He can dunk a basketball at 6 feet. A little leg strength involved there.
Yeah. Think about that power, but the quickness. That was Dalvin Cook that he brought down at 320.
Strong and twitchy, as they say, at the same time.
Very twitchy.
2nd and 18.
Tight
Rebels
end.
moving around, and they induce yet another flag.
Ryan Izzo, the tight end on the left side.
81, 5-yard.
There's a striking distance, Kirk, and how these teams have handled this big opening night so far. Huge edge, Ole Miss.
Yeah, not through the first quarter yet. Things can obviously change, but talking about having 5 penalties in the first quarter.
They got as many penalty yards as they do total offense, 55 apiece. So you got a freshman quarterback in his first start, facing 2nd and 23. Francois lofting it downfield for Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook gets a first down at the Ole Miss 35. Tough to cover him.
You know, this is a wheel route, but it almost looked like a broken play. I don't think Dalvin Cook, because of the traffic, I don't think he fully expects to get the football. I mean, he's staring Cook down. There's a couple Ole Miss defenders there. They broke on the ball. They just didn't make a play on the ball that time.
He's not afraid to fit the ball in tight spaces, is he? There were 3 Rebels in the vicinity. And another whistle before this snap and a false start. So they get momentum with the big play, and then 5 yards back.
Another mistake. Go back to that play, and remember, it's
5 yards,
2nd and
first
forever.
down.
Watch Gates, the linebacker. He's got a play on the ball. I mean, he's right there. He just doesn't locate the football, and all he had to do is knock it down. And by not finding, there he is. He almost jumped past his launching point, jumped past where the football was coming down to Cook. He just lost it.
Cook, no impact as a runner so far, but he's caught 3 balls for 43 yards. He's now spelled by big Jaquez Patrick, another guy who's from the Orlando area. Sophomore. And Francois flips it to him. And the big fella's got some room. Lowers the boom and muscles down. They'll spot him at the 31. He's a loaded space.
Francois once again, the defensive line winning that battle up front. He just gets that ball off before Brown hits him again. And now you see him out in space. With all the linebackers in the secondary dropping so deep, they're just checking it down and getting the ball and giving themselves a chance.
Patrick again on 2nd and 2, picks his way for a first down. He goes 230 pounds, so it's kind of a thunder and lightning combination with Cook.
But that was Brown on the last play. It was actually Breland Speaks that slipped in there. They moved him onto the right side. Jimbo Fisher is working with a young quarterback and within an offensive line right now that I think is struggling against the speed. It makes it very tough on a play caller when you're dealing with that combination.
Good looking drive, though. The 8th play coming up. They moved it 56 yards despite some penalties. Cook, short gain. Interesting. They motioned Travis Rudolph, the receiver, into the backfield, but then ran the other way, and it looked like Cook lost his footing a bit on the cut.
Yeah, they're lucky to get that handoff off. You see Tony Bridges went out of the game, so Ken Webster, the corner number 5, is already out. Tony Bridges being looked at, another corner out. And again, you go back to how important the corner play tonight for an Ole Miss defense that's loading up against the run. Those corners are going to be left on islands, and that's why they're giving them such a cushion. They don't want to let them go by them.
Timeout is taken. The Noles were shuffling different personnel groups on the field for this 2nd and 8 play. A promising Florida State drive as the Noles threaten, trying to tie things up. Here's the start for DeAndre Francois. Kirk.
Yeah, they've done a nice job of adjusting and throwing the ball underneath. You know, they're not getting it downfield, and that's okay. You got a line that's struggling up front. You got a young quarterback. Just check it down. Get the ball down and get it in space when you have tremendous quickness and tremendous athletic ability in the backfield and some of your receivers, that's the answer. It'd be interesting to see how Ole Miss responds to that. And with all these injuries to the corners, they've actually moved some guys around. You've got a linebacker right now and Gates playing around. They're moving people around to adjust to the injuries to these corners.
And second and 8. Francois rolls out. Man wide open in the flat. And the catch is made by Rudolph. First down and a flag after the tackle. Is this the first penalty on Ole Miss? Tony Connor in the vicinity.
Tony Connor's going to bail out Rudolph. You know, Rudolph, the baton's been handed to him to become the dominant FSU receiver. Turn upfield. You can't run out of bounds there. You've got to put your foot in the ground and get upfield. When you're the #1 guy, you got to make that play. And Connor comes over. That was a very marginal call there.
I'll tell you what, Kirk, they say he's 90–95%. He's got that brace on the right knee, which he injured last year mid-season. It was really a huge loss for this defense. Did not look very quick out in space, did he?
No, he didn't. I mean,
Result of the play is a first down. After the play was over, unnecessary roughness. Late hit out of number 12 of the deep. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
I don't know. I mean, he might have been a step out of bounds. That's a very, very gray area. I guess because he had already called him, he is tiptoeing down the sideline, so maybe initially he was out of bounds, but that again, questionable call there. But
maybe there'd been a whistle. They look like they were trying to signal, but you can't expect the defender to always hear the whistle.
If he's healthy or if he becomes the guy, you put your foot in the ground. There's nobody behind Connor. He walks to the end zone.
First and goal. Cook in the I formation. He gets it. And once again, heavy traffic in the middle. Dave Katayer, our officiating guru. Dave, what was your assessment of that penalty on the sideline there?
Well, hey, Herbie hit it pretty good. The problem is he is out of bounds, technically a foul, but he's moving forward in the direction of the goal line instead of turning out. The defender makes a normal tackle on it, and it's one that I'd let go.
There's Connor heading back out there. Final minute of the first quarter. And the Noles, not much on first down. What will they do now with the young quarterback down here in the red zone?
Well, you would think you'd have to rely on Cook, but the tight end in this area is also really a great target in Izzo.
He's in the left of the formation. Francois looking to the right, delivers for the end zone. Jump ball over the head of Rudolph as Bridges, who's back in there, was in coverage.
Good to see Bridges back out. We had talked about how they lost Webster, their best cover man. Bridges went out with an apparent injury, but is back out there on Rudolph.
8 seconds to go in the first quarter. Sam?
Communication issues right now with DeAndre Francois. Jimbo Fisher actually tried to get a timeout there and couldn't get it. Bringing these guys back together right now, but they're having some issues.
Well, they're going tempo here, but because Florida State substituted, umpire steps over the ball and gives Ole Miss a chance to substitute as well.
Empty backfield. 2 in the play clock. If he got the snap off, barely. It's incomplete in the end zone. It'll be 4th down. Very close to a delay of game there. And this field goal attempt will be the final play of the quarter. They tried to target Auden Tate.
You know, this is part of his youth. You've got everybody spread out. It's man-to-man, and he ends up throwing the ball out here where there's two guys in coverage. You've got 2 guys right there, one on the inside, one on the outside. You've got to find the one-on-one matchup that you like. And again, that's just part of being young and something he can learn from.
Here's Aguayo, but it's not Roberto, it's Ricky Aguayo, the younger brother of the great Florida State All-American. No redshirt season for him, unlike Big Brother, but his college debut is a successful one as he knocks through the chip shot, but not what the Noles were looking for in that drive.
Now, we talked at the beginning of the broadcast about red zone success. Ole Miss got down inside there on their first drive, and they were able to put a touchdown up on the board, and they're 1 for 1 in the red zone. And for Florida State, you get down, you get an opportunity to get inside that 10-yard line. You got to put a touchdown on the board. And again, you got a young quarterback, you got Dalvin Cook, you've got some receivers. That time they waited till 3rd down to try to attack vertically, and he just made a poor decision on who to go to the football, with the ball too.
Technically, it's a 75-yard field goal drive. He had to overcome 20 yards in penalties. Got the assistance of the penalty on Connor. Here's another look.
You know, it looked like he may have made up his mind before the play that he was going to try to get the ball in there to Whitfield. You can see,
as Sam said, they're trying to get a timeout. He is not afraid to throw the ball in traffic, is he?
Well, you better be afraid of that. I mean, he's lucky that wasn't picked off by Hartsfield, the safety.
He made a decision down here very early in the spring game on this field, and Nate Andrews, one of the veterans, made a pick. He overcame that. He bounced back. Very nearly cost him a chance at a field goal. And the kickoff is boomed way over the end line. 1 second to play in the first quarter. 8 of 12, 91 yards for Francois. We're enjoying our Monday Night Football time slot, but the NFL's back on ESPN with the annual doubleheader. Steelers and the Redskins at 6:55 p.m. next week, followed at 10:15 by the Los Angeles Rams. Throwback.
Still can't get used
the Niners. Rams and Niners maybe back to being an even bigger rivalry.
Could be. Could be. It's great to see NFL football back. College football sure celebrated the opening weekend with some great games. Now, remember that opening drive, they went 75 yards, 6 plays, under 2 minutes, and a touchdown. Since then, they've had a 3-and-out, an interception. See if they get back to trying to be aggressive, try to confuse the Florida State defense, and get the tempo going.
Two-back look for the first time, and a whistle. Delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It didn't even occur to Kelly. And I think Hugh Freeze is frustrated because how quickly they started at the play clock.
Now let's get that Doak Campbell Stadium feel. Knowles fans something to cheer about. Making it tough on this offense. There's a handoff. And it's the first carry by Eric Sweeney. And he's knocked down. Freshman out of Riverdale, Georgia, 4-star touted recruit. So as a lightning quick start for the Rebels, they struck first in less than 2 minutes. Knowles at a field goal late in the first quarter. Ole Miss on top 7-3 after 15 minutes here in Orlando. Rebels football will be second down and long. Eric Sweeney, who suffered a stress fracture to his leg last year, had to redshirt. Came back, worked so hard to get healthy. Arrived this season with a chip in his shoulder, Kirk, and after his very first carry, knocked out. They're looking at his knee right now. We'll keep you posted.
He's in a lot of pain walking off that field.
Kelly throws a dart. Ingram, who's been busy so far, is knocked down across the 33. It'll be 3rd and short.
You know, Chad Kelly and Evan Ingram worked very, very hard in the offseason. Ingram, a 4-year starting tight end, almost a receiver. They flex him out so many times. But the third downs, they want to go to him as often as possible with some option routes. Something they studied with the New England Patriots. Looks like we have a Florida State player down all the way in the Ole Miss sideline. The middle linebacker Hoskins.
Roderick Hoskins is down, and starting linebacker. 3rd down, red zone. These are things that are sometimes challenging for this Ole Miss offense, Kirk. It's so explosive. As you said, they spread you horizontally, vertically.
Yeah. Haven't
been very good at muscling the ball the conventional way on downs and distances like this.
No, they haven't. And that's what I was saying about the offseason emphasis with Chad was growing in that area and really getting into sync with Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is one of the better tight ends in the country, one of the more experienced receiving tight ends. And Chad realizes his best friend on 3rd down could be Ingram.
Jordan Wilkins, academically ineligible. He was the guy who could have been an experienced physical back. He's not available. We'll see what the call is for Kelly as they continue to tend to Hoskins on the sideline. Most teams have tents where they can do initial medical examinations on players. That's for Derek Hoskins. He was in the tent briefly. Thankfully, he's able to walk off. We'll get you an injury update. Meanwhile, Sam, over on the Ole Miss sidelines, the news is not good.
Yeah, more bad news. You guys were talking about Eric Sweeney. I can confirm he is out for the game with a left knee injury. But I can also tell you it's a different injury, even though the same leg, a different injury than he faced last year. But bad news for the Rebels.
On 3rd and 2, a handoff. And breaking free for a first down is Akeem Judd. That felt like a big play, even though it's early second, Kurt.
Well, and the reason is they need to get their momentum. They need to get their tempo going to try to get something established here. And you can see the depth chart here with Sweeney now down. Wilkins suspended. I mean, they are very, very thin at that running back spot.
Kelly takes off, pump fakes, and is stopped at the 46 after a 2-yard gain by Matthew Thomas.
Yeah, that time they were not falling for that pump fake that he got him earlier on.
He's going to keep doing it, though, because defenders do seem to fall for it.
Yeah, they do. You could be a yard or two across the line, and sometimes it can work. With Hoskins out, you now have number 40, Nick Patty, into the game. So depth being tested on both sides.
Play action, they flip it to Ingram, and he muscles forward. He got a draft grade he didn't really like, so he put on some weight, worked in his blocking, his craft. He's such a heady player and wants to have a big showcase season. Off to a good start.
Yeah, he is. And like I said earlier, he's really the go-to guy, the security blanket.
On 3rd down, a little option look, and Kelly darts for a first down and takes a big shot inside the 25 by McFadden. But again, Kelly's shown his dual threat skill set.
And a nice block by Jordan Sims. It almost looked like a broken play. It was so slow and developing, but he didn't give up on it and just pitch it. He found that the defense was overflowing. He picked up a good block by Sims and gets some yards, and boom, it's hit there at the end.
14-yard gain. McFadden had to be careful because he was leading with the crown of the helmet. Didn't really make contact on Kelly. If he had, he could have been flagged. So Rebels on the march, trying to add to the lead. Chad Kelly, 6 for 9 passing. He's already run for 27 yards, showing some toughness.
The 2016 Camping World Kickoff is brought to you by Camping World. Get one-stop shopping for everything RV at your nearby Camping World RV Supercenter.
Well, in this mostly hostile environment here in Orlando, Rebels offenses look sharp. Marching again to the Noles 35.
This is one way to slow down their tempo.
Kelly, another dart. Ingram open with room. Barrels down inside the 10.
Remember, you have the starting linebacker Hoskins out. Patty is in to replace him, and that's just Ingram settling down in the middle of the defense. Good connection there with the quarterback.
Kelly on the keeper, weaving his way down inside the 5 to the 3. And his uncle Jim, of course, the NFL Hall of Famer, looks on.
I love how he came off of that fake, and he knew he was going to keep it the entire way. Again, he gives that little bit of pump fake, makes the defense hesitant just for a second, but he runs the ball with authority, especially down inside this area.
Kelly, jump ball, caught, touchdown, DK Metcalf, the true freshman. A hometown kid, welcome to college football.
I don't know if it's just something you and I with Chad Kelly, but you talk about catching a break. He throws it right into the hands of McFadden, who's in perfect position. But the freshman at 6'4" from Oxford, Mississippi, fights for the ball, and that's what made it go up into the air. And then he's obviously focused and able to lock in to be able to make the catch. But Metcalf bails out Kelly and makes a great play.
Metcalf, along with A.J. Brown, who made a big play earlier. They got the top 2 receiver prospects in the state of Mississippi. one from their hometown, one from the Bulldogs' hometown. Metcalf, Kirk, they say he's got a huge upside. They wondered, were the lights too big for him tonight?
No,
He shine right away. I don't think so.
He's feeling it. I want to go back and watch it. Watch this play. Great job by McFadden. Position, finds the ball. But Metcalf knocks that ball away from him. He had an interception.
He had to play
this.
DB first.
Right. He knocks it away, almost kind of just knocking it away from McFadden to himself, and then comes up with the touchdown. But outstanding. If you're going to try to coach a corner and how to play the fade, McFadden did it. He just got out-jumped by a guy 6'4" when he's 6'2".
Ole Miss has maybe the tallest receiving core in the country. They don't have any receivers who are under 6'2" who start. There's the pylon cam look. And
Jim's like, oh, no.
he knows it. He knows
like, well, we'll
you
take
maybe shouldn't have thrown that.
But we'll take it. We'll take it.
So the Rebels march 75 yards in 9 plays. Only took him 219. That whole drive was Kelly running and throwing.
Yeah, 4 for 4 for 41 yards and 20 yards rushing. You talked about that one play kind of felt big, kind of ignited that momentum, the tempo, and sure enough, ends up in the end zone.
So Nathan Noble boots it away. And Whitfield will decide not to take it out. This next possession kind of feels big too for the young quarterback.
Now you've got a 14-3 lead in a game that a lot of people nationally felt Florida State is supposed to win, and now you got a young quarterback who's got to be able to keep his poise, and you're getting tested right here in a big way. This isn't a scrimmage. It's not a spring game. It's Ole Miss, and they're coming after the quarterback. Now, how do they play this drive with Francois? Do they keep kind of getting the ball to Cook and checking it down to some of the receivers? Or do they take a few shots, something that Jimbo Fisher came into this game wanting to do?
Safe throw, but incomplete. Too low for Dalvin Cook. They're trying to use Dalvin more as a receiver than a runner so far.
Rushing 4, like Alabama the other night with USC, and getting pressure. DJ Jones, they just can't block it. It's as simple as that. Number 93 in white. We'll see if he can go for 60 minutes, but he is having his way in the interior. Everybody wanted to know what would they do without Kimdichie. How about DJ Jones and Breland Speaks? Isaac Gross. They got some players up front.
Flushed. Sacked. They do have some players up front, and they got some linebackers who can get after the quarterback. That's DeMarquise Gates.
They do a good job with a stunt. They actually bring a blitz with Gates coming off the edge to the right. He's here, but you're also going to see a stunt work to the inside. Has an impact as well. See the twist up there up front, flushes him, and there's the athletic ability from the leading tackler a year ago, Gates, who brings him down. Nice call by Dave Womack, the defensive coordinator there.
Gates has both of their sacks. He plays what they call the stinger position. That was a stinging loss for this Noles offense. Got to hurry on. Again, see the short arm throw. Not a very good series for Francois at all.
When you see a young quarterback throwing the ball low like that, he's short arming. He's aiming the ball. He's not just getting back there and letting it go. 1st and 10, he threw one down into the feet of Dalvin Cook. Now 3rd down and long. They're probably not going to pick up a 1st down here, more than likely. But again, watch him aim the football. Nose is down and goes right into the ground.
Not quite the same. Once the light goes on, you start playing for real against a defense like this. Tyler in to punt again. Rebels come after it, and the lefty freshman gets it away. And fielded for a fair catch at the 42. There's a flag down back near where the ball was punted. Jimbo has worked with quarterbacks for a long time, has a good instinct about what tone to use, what approach to use. But this was not the way that Jameis Winston began his career, for example, in a similar situation.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 32 of the receiving team, 15-yard penalty. It'll be 1st down, Mississippi.
Okay, that'll back the Rebels up. You know, Jimbo said you got all the talent in the world. You clearly are the best guy on your team, but the baptism. You were there at one time as a young quarterback.
And right now the game is moving very fast for him. And Jimbo Fisher knows that. He told us on the field before the game, I said, not only does he have to handle Ole Miss's defense, he has to handle you, because he loves to challenge in his communication his quarterbacks. And he said early he didn't know how to handle that. He said, don't listen to how I'm saying it, just listen to what I'm saying. And that's something that he's trying to make sure he uses. Listen, Chris, there are not a lot of quarterbacks that can deal with 2nd and 13, 3rd and 15 the way he's been facing here a lot of this football game. It's not just Francois.
Well, Sweeney out. They bring in Eugene Brasley, number 23, and he can't get much trying around the right end. Sam?
Yeah, Chris, you're talking about how Jimbo's handling his quarterback right now, and I've seen him go all in on a quarterback, and this is not it. He knows he has to tread softly here. His questions to DeAndre so far have been more out of trying to understand what he saw. He keeps saying, what happened?
Kelly throws it up, and the catch is made by Stringfellow. He sees all these young guys making plays, now the veteran getting involved.
Great coverage that time by Lewis. He had a step actually on the receiver. So what does Kelly do? Back shoulder. Great throw.
Got 21 yards. Kelly firing again. Right down the middle. Wide open. Down inside the red zone. Taz Zettergren, the backup tight end.
So reminiscent of the first drive where Florida State was confused with the looks and the tempo. Another busted coverage, just like on the first drive. This time they were fortunate to make the tackle before he got all the way to the end zone.
And the senior backup with a 37-yard gain. Play action again. Kelly batted down there. That'll maybe give the Noles defense a breather. Josh Sweat with the pressure.
I love that Charles Kelly has a defense. It's on its heels, confused a bit there on that last play. And what do they come back with? A blitz. Go after Chad Kelly. Instead of getting conservative, they come after him from both sides, and Sweat ends up getting in, who should have a big year. You know, he's up to 250 pounds. Chris, he played a lot last year as a true freshman. They expect big things from him this year coming off the edge. But I love the call there by Kelly after the mental error from the secondary.
Now a flag and a false start. Rebels will be backed up. It'll be 2nd and 15.
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Ole Miss was sharp in the early going, but that's now their 4th penalty.
Left tackle Rod Taylor taking over officially for Laramie Tunsil.
Big shoes, literally.
Yeah. Played, you know, he had 4 starts last year at right guard, but now he's stepping in there at left tackle to protect the blind side of Kelly.
Kelly rolls and throws back. Noles are ready. Thomas delivers the big shot.
Chris, another mental error, but Kelly was not able to see it. Attaboy Joe actually breaks free. The Florida State defense again loses him in coverage. Nobody picks him up. If Kelly locates him, it's a touchdown. He's all by himself in the middle of the defense.
So it's 3rd and 22. And now another flag. Noles barge into the backfield where they'd drawn off. I'll tell you, you said it, Kirk. After the busted coverage, the big gain, the Noles defense has risen up, and the Rebels have made some mental mistakes. This once promising drive trying to go up 21-3.
Encroachment. Defense number 91. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
They'll get 5 yards back with Nadi being flagged there.
Yeah, I love how they got aggressive, and then the very next play where Ole Miss is clearly trying to set up a screen, Florida State red screen, but they left Attaboy Joe all alone.
Still 3rd and 17.
See if the Noles come after Kelly.
Kelly across the middle. Touchdown! Evan Ingram. A monster night so far. And the Rebels stretch it.
He saw a matchup that he wanted, and we talked about in the offseason. What did he work on? The relationship with Evan Ingram. Ingram is going to split the safeties, work right behind the linebackers, and it's a heck of a throw. Right there. Leads him. That's anticipating from Chad Kelly. He led Ingram to the inside. Ingram wasn't even looking for the football. But that's the offseason work that Kelly and Ingram put in. But that was third and forever. Checks to it and gets the touchdown.
3rd and 17, a touchdown pass. The 7th catch already for Ingram. Kelly throwing for 3 touchdowns. Backing up some of that offseason swag talk.
You go back to this touchdown, you can see Kelly sees the coverage. He sees the safeties that are eventually going to get split. Ingram's off here to the right, and once Ingram gets set in, they're going to throw the touchdown pass off to the left. But look at the hole off to the right, and the receiver Jefferson would have walked into the end zone, so he ends up taking the tougher route with his guy Ingram. But Jefferson is all alone, nobody within 20 yards, off to the right-hand side.
2 gentlemen named Kelly having very different emotions so far. That's Charles trying to figure out how to get a confused defense on the same page.
And he's a great defensive mind. He's been around a lot of different places, and he knew coming in the big challenge was going to be getting the defense to be on the same page and communicate against Chad Kelly's, not just his talent, but against the tempo and the confusion that a Hugh Freeze offense can create. And right now they've had 3 or 4 different plays where they've busted, and Ole Miss has capitalized.
Now the freshman quarterback in the Noles offense, an 18-point hole. Cannot get Dalvin Cook loose yet. So dangerous, but bottled up so far. Sam?
Chris, Charles Kelly questioning his defense's effort right now. He said, I'm about to see whether or not you care. This is going to show us who we are. Questioning their energy, too. Actually, the guy that got up and kind of laid into the team was DeMarcus Walker, just going off saying, we have to communicate. We haven't communicated all game.
Thank you, Sam. 2nd and 8. Anthony catches Bobo Wilson for a first down 20 minutes into the season, and Kelly's haven't asked those hard questions of his guys.
Yeah, I mean, and we're seeing it, and obviously Walker's seeing it. Sam hears it. But I'm just amazed by, we're focusing on Francois when they have the football and can the young freshman make plays. But if you're at home watching this game, watch the battle at the line of scrimmage, especially when Florida State tries to run the ball. I mean, it's pretty physical and favoring White.
Fumble! Francois has to go back and fall, and at the exchange with Cook was sloppy. Things are getting worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a mismatch up front. Ole Miss is beating them up on the inside. This time they're actually going to read Brown. He collapses down, and it's a miscommunication between the quarterback and the running back on the read. You see, he's reading Brown. He puts it in. He should have pulled it out because Brown collapsed down on the running back. On that read, he's got to pull it out. Just not on the same page. And again, 2nd and 20.
Francois flips it in traffic. Gets made by Javon Harrison. They call him Pig. And a flag is down. He's stopped at the 35. Busy first half for Brad Van Vark's Big 12 crew.
Might be one of those, did he catch the ball behind the line of scrimmage or across the line of scrimmage with men downfield blocking?
An eligible receiver downfield, offense number 54.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty, replay 2nd down.
Good spot, coach, and it's Eberle again who's had a struggle tonight.
Yeah, he's asking, hey guys, I'm going up against 93. I'm snapping the ball to a freshman. This is a tough battle for Alec Eberle, who's coming back from an injury. Last year, he ended up starting the 2nd half of the season. They're happy to have him back.
It's the 7th penalty, Kurt.
Now they're 2nd and 25.
At about a 20 penalty pace tonight. Francois again clips it short. This is Cook. He's got some space. Makes a couple men miss and dives out to the 40. Dalvin Cook showing how dangerous he is. Makes it a very makeable third down.
And I think Dalvin Cook's frustrated at the end of the play because he thought he was hit late. And the guy maybe, look at that battle up front. That time Haynes gets in there. The only thing they really can is check it down. But right at the end, right there, I think Cook felt that the defender from Ole Miss lowered his shoulder and kind of speared him as he was going down.
They've struggled big time on third down, but the average distance they've needed on those third down plays is 11 yards.
Gives him a chance. Third and manageable here after that play.
And now another false start coming up on the Noles.
Wow. False start. Offense number 4.
No preseason games in this sport. No chance before the lights are bright against a quality opponent to work things out. And it's showing.
What was third and manageable is now third and long. Ole Miss crowding the line, trying to create confusion on the pass rush. Wow.
And they got another flinch
again.
The Rebels fans are outnumbered here, but they are on their feet on the near sideline making noise.
Left guard that time moved, Kelly.
They're making it tough. The Noles feel like this is a road game at the moment, and they're playing like it.
So left guard.
Wasn't much of a flinch.
Oh, they're saying that maybe Ole Miss is up there yelling the cadence, which is a penalty. That's the only thing it could be.
Game defense number 3, 5-yard penalty, down.
Gates is up there yelling, pretending to be Francois with the cadence, and meanwhile Francois, I think, he's lifting his leg and relying on the guard, who's looking back to give the snap ready. See how the guard looks back, ask him when he's ready, he taps the center.
All right, we're back to 3rd and 7 now. Deep drop. Deep throw into traffic, far sidelines, incomplete, and a flag. Incredulous. Tony Bridges trying to cover Lane there, or excuse me,
Defense
Wilson.
For 1, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
But we've given this offensive line a lot of trouble tonight because they've had a tough night. But that time they gave the young quarterback enough time to give Wilson a chance to run. That is a long route, and Bridges clearly locked him up. Got there early. Good call by the officials downstairs. And that's a matchup they want. They want to go towards Tony Bridges when it's third down.
Much needed first down for Florida State. Not much for Dalvin. 9th carry and another flag. It's getting chippy out there. Officials trying to keep control of it. Face mask signal looks like.
Well, to me, it looked like Izzo and
Personal
Hampton
foul,
got locked up.
Hands to the face. Number 4 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic down.
They flag C.J. Hampton working against the tight end.
See, that's where you're up 21-3. All the momentum in the world. Everything's going well. The defense is playing well. I would run him until he drops next week at practice. Those kind of mistakes. Not only do you give Florida State a chance to be able to keep this drive going, but now you change the complexion of the game and they go down and score. Watch at the end, right to the right there. They lock up. Grab this face mask.
Ball moved to the 28. Francois throws back to a wide open Dalvin Cook, who collects it and dropped the ball before he crossed the goal line. Dalvin Cook drops it. Noles keep it at the 3. But wow, that kind of night so far for Dalvin.
Yeah, and I don't think he wasn't doing anything that was uncalled for. He was just getting ready to look like he might grab the ball with both hands to go into the end zone.
So fortunate. Pylon cam gives you a view.
He's lucky that Ole Miss didn't recover it, and he's also lucky it didn't go through the end zone for a touchback.
Couldn't have worked out any better once he dropped it. So 1st and goal. That's a low snap, and that messes up the timing, and Cook is smothered.
Well, in a busy weekend of college football, this drive is not going to go down as a clinic tape at all for either side of the ball.
No, this
This
not
might
one
be
for
the ugliest.
capsule.
This might be the ugliest drive of the last
This
4
will
or
get
5
nowhere
days.
near the Hall of Fame in Atlanta. But the Noles desperate to cut into the lead, have a 2nd and goal here in the 8th play.
Roll him out away from trouble.
Yep. Low throw, no. Rudolph couldn't come up with it. It'll be 3rd and goal.
He's comfortable rolling out. He actually had his man. Ball is thrown low. Still, Rudolph makes that catch more often than not.
Had their flag down, Kirk.
Yeah, Rudolph should make that catch.
Yeah, he should have. Comes back as the veteran leader of the receiving corps. There was a flag down. They didn't move the ball. They may have picked the flag up.
Yeah, I think
there
they
was
did.
one down there.
Yep. All right, so it's 3rd down. Rudolph is a guy that draws most of the attention. You have Cook. But again, you wonder, because of the way Ole Miss is going to come after Francois, if you move him around.
Gotta hurry. From the pocket, a dart, incomplete. Tried to get the ball again to Rudolph, but it's 4th down.
That's the matchup. I mean, you'll take that all day with Gates, a linebacker, on your best receiver, Rudolph, and he threw that. That ball was thrown with a lot of velocity. Now remember, he held on to that ball so long that it gave Ole Miss plenty of time to get to him. And I think he felt that urgency. He had to throw it with everything he had just to get the ball out of his hands.
So Ricky Aguayo, good from 25 earlier. This from 21. And Roberto's little brother knocks it right through. So the Noles in the red zone, a couple of field goals. The Rebels 3 for 3 with touchdowns in their red zone trips. That's the difference.
Yeah, we again talked about that. This is just a miscue by Dalvin Cook, one of the best players in the country. He's fortunate the ball did go out of bounds. They maintained possession. Twice they tried to go to Travis Rudolph. That ball is thrown just too hard for Rudolph to bring it down for a touchdown, settle for another field goal.
It's a 71-yard field goal drive. Should have been a touchdown, but Dalvin Cook dropping the ball 3 yards from the goal line with no one around him. And then Travis Rudolph, the top receiver on the team, couldn't come up with one of the short throws. So they settle for 3. Logan Tyler to boot it away. It's Carlos Davis. We will see a kickoff return as Davis bobbled the ball initially. Sidesteps a couple of the coverage mans and earns the return out to the 20. Well, Kirk, the last time Noles took the field, it was also an ugly start. The Peach Bowl against a very good Houston team. Sean McGuire was trying to play hurt. He threw 4 picks. And it was 21-3 at the break. Houston went on to win. So now we're sitting at 21-6, and again having to fight from behind.
Yeah, you wonder if Sean McGuire at some point in this game, because of his experience, Jimbo told us yesterday in our meetings, he is healthy enough to play. If they get into a position where they feel like they want to get him into the game as a senior, they could go that route.
Kelly trying to add to more before halftime. Pump fake, delivers a long throw. It's low and incomplete. Couldn't quite get it to Adeboyejo.
That's one where he had the ball, he had protection, but that's where he's trying to take the next step. His aspirations to be an NFL quarterback, if he checked that down to his running back there, his running back's probably going to take off and go. Hakeem Judd was out there by himself. He's going to pick up 10, maybe 15 yards, but he just locked on and waited for the bigger play downfield. Just check it down.
2nd and 10, both 5-star true freshman receivers are in the game. Kelly delivers it far side to one of them, A.J. Brown, who's going to have a big career just based on the first half so far.
Yeah, if you look at these guys, A.J. Brown, 6'1", 225, true freshman from Starkville, Mississippi, and then DK Metcalf, who already scored, 6'4", 220. They're impressive.
Kelly again, firing down the middle and over the head. When A.J. Brown sat there in Starkville, he put on an Ole Miss hat on signing day. That was one of the sweetest recruiting victories Ole Miss says they've ever had. You don't go to Starkville very often and get a player away from the Bulldogs to this place.
No, not at all. There's the other freshman, Metcalf, who already scored.
He's from Oxford. You expect to get him, right?
Yep. But really attacking the middle of the coverage for Florida State.
Kelly gets it away, throws it behind Adebayo. It'll be third down.
You see that all over college football when a defensive back is in phase with a wide receiver, meaning he's running next to him in good coverage. Instead of trying to throw it in front of him, quarterbacks are always taught to throw it to the back shoulder and let the receiver who can see the ball adjust back to it. That time they're timing off just a bit.
And the Noles get a stop. Rebels have converted 4 of 5 on third down so far. And Kelly shows how dangerous he is as a runner. How frustrating for a defense.
When you play man-to-man on third down, this is your worst nightmare because a quarterbacks who can read coverage, watch out, the middle just opens up. Everybody's in coverage with their back turned to the quarterback.
14-yard gain on 3rd and 10. And now Kelly working the sideline again. That's Adebayo. Defended well. The ball's knocked loose at the last minute by Trey Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall and James, you could make a pretty strong argument that both these guys are as good a tandem of safeties as there is in the country. Adebayo actually looked him up, saw him, felled him, and a good job of separating Adebayo from the ball by Trey Marshall. Physical safety. See it all the time. Adjustments, they have the boards, Hughes involved, they got the coverage, split safeties.
Kelly ducks under again. Trademark pump fake, this time dropped at the 49-yard line by Thomas. He's got the small play sheet now. It's a change in his method of play calling, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, he used to work all week and get together with everybody, the staff, and spend 5 days putting his play chart together.
Now it's a one-pager.
Yeah.
No flag. Now a flag comes in late. That was Marcus Lewis defending on DeMarcus Lodge.
Boy, that was a questionable call.
It wasn't thrown right away. It was thrown from deep.
Watch the timing of Lewis breaking on the ball. Well, he got his right hand in there. It's actually a really good call. Happened so fast. He hooked him with his right arm.
Dave Katsai, is that how you saw that good call, the 10th penalty on the Noles?
I did, because he hooked him and turned him. If he doesn't turn him, no foul.
Dave, we're always on the same page. Kelly loops it. Adebayo running free, makes the catch out of bounds. And the Rebels threatening to blow this open before halftime.
Marshall coming over late. Marshall comes over late, a little bit confused.
Marshall's down at the pylon, 27-yard gain. Let's take another look.
Well, let's hope that he's okay. He had injuries last year, but it's a slant and go. See how he's coming over late right there. He is completely out of phase that time, and he stepped out of bounds before he got close to the end zone.
No doubt. He did have the ball, though,
yeah,
just barely. Catch, foot.
Yeah, he's in.
Yeah, there.
With the right foot down first, then out of bounds. But Trey Marshall looking over to Charles Kelly, trying to make sure he has the right coverage. Had to find out where the receiver was that he was covering. Comes running over. Ball is snapped while he's still trying to come over.
And Trey Marshall is still down. Rebels in the red zone when you come back. Senior from Texas, Quincy Adebojo, makes a fingertip catch. They did review this and confirm the call. His foot just did get down before his other one hit the white.
Yeah, great effort. Fingertips, catch, right foot, and there you could tell that there's probably about about an inch or two between his foot and the sideline. Here's a great look at it. Catch.
She got both in. So Kirk, the Rebels are back in the red zone. The first 3 trips, Kelly touchdown passes to 3 different receivers. Trying to make it a 22-point lead with halftime approaching. Team Judd end up in the pistol behind the quarterback. We fake it to him. Kelly for the end zone. Off the receiver's hands and almost caught. Adebojo had a chance at it. And then diving for it.
Yeah, I don't know if he was going to Adebojo or if he was trying to throw it to Ty Quick, 43 behind him, who nobody was covering. He's all by himself. If he was trying to get it to Quick, a little bit of a softer touch, just kind of up and over. But Adebojo saw it coming to him and got a hand on it.
Second down handoff. Judd. Sutter steps and gets into the end zone. Rebels in the red zone. Stay perfect tonight.
Great job by the right side in setting this up. Alex Givens, freshman out of Nashville, comes up with a nice block. Watch Jordan Sims, the right guard. Watch him work on the right side and open that up. Then right here, it's just one-on-one. Make him miss, pick up a block from the receiver, walk into the end zone.
Team Judd, one of the guys that has to step up at the running back position. Jordan Wilkins suspended, Jalen Walton gone, and the senior, who's been very, very patient, wants to make the most of this season.
4 red zone trips, 4 touchdowns.
3 passes and then that run.
Yep.
And the Noles are going to get the ball, start the third quarter. They got 3:04 to work with to try to cut into this. The cloud that Ole Miss has been living under really ever since Hugh Freeze got there. There were some investigations into the previous administration, actually in multiple sports. Laramie Tunsil, who made so many headlines on draft night, suspended the first 7 games of last year. The smoking video, he had a gas mask, a bong. That broke out on draft night. Texts requesting money, sir, but they're still looking into that. The investigation is ongoing. There are reports that the investigation is broadening. Hugh Freeze says that they will have their time to answer these allegations, and if they've done things wrong, to face the music, but a lot still to be determined in that. And again, no timetable, no idea when the NCAA might conclude that investigation. Could be next week or next year. Whitfield trying to create a spark on special teams, spun around and knocked down at the 25-yard line. The players don't seem to be distracted by all of that stuff that's been going on for the last few years.
The players aren't going to be distracted by it. It obviously can affect recruiting when you have that dark cloud hovering, and you know the opponents that you have in that region are going to be recruiting against you and using that.
Hasn't so far.
Pretty heavily, but it hasn't. And Hugh Freeze, I think it's because he's hitting it head on. He's dealing with it and addressing it, whether it's with folks like you and I who come in to call their games, the local media. I mean, he talks about it as much as he can. With an ongoing investigation, he's really not freed up to get into a lot of details, but he seems pretty confident that they're going to be able to work through this, and we'll stay tuned, I guess. But business goes on for the Ole Miss football program, and they keep playing great football.
Fisher now hoping his young quarterback can create a spark. It's a short gain to Wilson. How adventurous do you think Fisher should be in trying to cut into the lead with the young quarterback?
Well, you have 250, and I think it just depends on if you're able to pick up another first down. Your mindset once you get closer to midfield will change. A touchdown and the ball coming back is probably the goal for Jimbo Fisher.
Noles do have one timeout. Quarterback gets it away on the far side. Another flag is down as Naquan Murray, the sophomore, makes the catch on the far side. That was in the pit.
Personal foul, leg whip, offense number 74. That penalty will be 15 yards. Replay first down.
It's Derek Kelly, the left guard, a variety of penalties on those guys up front so far for Florida State.
And Kareem Arr is out of the game, the starting left guard, and so Derek Kelly, the sophomore, who's a backup left tackle, is working tonight at guard. And this offensive line is coming off a year where they had to replace a lot of starters, and they had a lot of injuries and a bunch of different combinations. They felt better about them this year, and they are not off to a good start in a new season up front.
The 11th penalty for Florida State. On 1st and 25, there's a high throw. Catch made and knocked out of bounds is Rudolph.
I like getting a quarterback who's making his first start down 22 with plenty of time left. When you get the ball back, just get it out of his hands. They're going to give you soft coverage. They're going to give you the underneath routes. Get the ball out of his hands. And just seeing Sean McGuire, we talked about him earlier, you wonder at some point, because of the experience and his ability to throw the ball, if they would go to him in the second half.
Fisher said he would certainly not have a. And 2nd and 16. Wide open. Bobo Wilson makes a catch and scampers out of the 40, and it's Ole Miss's secondary that makes a mistake.
And with Ken Webster out, the guy they're going to continue to go after is number 1, Tony Bridges. Watch this. Watch him break and turn to the post, and he doesn't even see Bobo Wilson break to the outside. If you're going to leave these Florida State receivers one-on-one against number 1 without a safety behind him, they're going to attack him. And now he comes off the field, and Carlos Davis will come in for him.
He kind of limps off there, grabbing at that hamstring. 1.5 minutes to go. Noles have a timeout. They back off. Again, Cook underneath. Will not escape. He stopped short of the first down by Carlos Davis.
You hit a couple plays downfield, and it makes the Ole Miss defense change. They got 2 safeties deep, and it opens up the underneath throws. And again, you're giving it to a great athlete in space.
Fisher signaling for tempo here. Francois from the pocket. Batted down. He was knocked down after the throw. Again, pressured by the men up front.
Well, Fidel Brown has made the start, but John Youngblood, who's wearing Chucky Mullins' number from the left, watch the power. He just pushes the left tackle, Johnson, right into the quarterback.
Get the Chucky Mullins award. He's an all-around model student athlete. Does stuff in the community. He's given that honor as one player is on the team every year. Need a yard on 3rd down, Kirk. Cook to the left of the quarterback. Calvin's got it, and he's got a first down and more. Stumbling, looked like he had open field, is spotted down at the 15.
Great job that time by the offensive line. Ole Miss brought the blitz. Good job by Wilson Bell, but he actually follows Kelly 74 around and almost hit that for a touchdown. But it was a blitz. The line that time ready for it, picked up the blitzes to give the talented running back Cook a chance.
It's his first productive running play tonight. Got 15 yards. 45 to go in the half, and a whistle. Timeout taken by Ole Miss to kind of regroup on defense. All right, Kirk, the Noles back in the red zone. Field goal, I know it's only the first half, doesn't help a whole lot.
And we've talked all night about the importance of the red zone. And college football coaches would tell you today in this spread era, the big things are that you look for in winning a game or losing a game, converting on 3rd down, and red zone success. Are we kicking field goals? Or are we scoring touchdowns? That's been the story of the game tonight. Ole Miss in the red zone 4 times, 4 touchdowns. Florida State into that red zone area twice, 2 field goals. They've rolled him out. They've had Rudolph open a few times. He just hasn't been able to hold on to the football. You got to think they'll go back to Rudolph, their most talented and experienced wide receiver.
Red zone, something they tried to fix. They kicked a lot of field goals last year down here in the red zone, 15 of them. with number 15. Francois flushed again, throws off his back foot, nobody there. Haynes pressured him, along with Jones. 37 seconds. They still have a timeout to play with.
It's amazing. Here we are in a crucial point in the game. We've seen a lot of freshmen out there, but because of the injuries to the secondary, how about Jalen Julius, a freshman, out there competing against the best receiver of Florida State's Travis Rudolph. Have a safety in Hartsfield, another true freshman, behind to help him out.
Francois fires, incomplete. Perhaps some miscommunication with Murray. Throw delivered outside. It's 3rd and 10.
They try to go to the outside towards Julius. Remember, when safeties are split, it's 3rd down with a Shark.
Play caller. Is that just getting the guys pumped up with the Land Sharks? Is there some substance there? Is that just...
I'm sure there is. Okay. Yeah.
The Land Sharks thing dates to 2008. I asked Dave Wambach, do they have to earn that right every year, or can you just come out and give that fin on the helmet? He said, no, you can just do it. We don't have to earn it, but they're earning it tonight.
They sure are. And 2 years ago, they were one of the better defenses in the country at tackling in space and getting after a quarterback. Last year, they gave up some yards through the air, but they pride themselves on being aggressive, being creative, and attacking. They've done a good job tonight.
This is a part of the field. Obviously, things are squeezed. Dalvin Cook busted loose for the 1 run on this drive. He's been used as a receiver. He's caught 6 balls, but this play looms so large in the half.
Well, he has been much more productive tonight catching the football than he has as a runner. And depending on what kind of coverage you get, it's something that you can make it an easy throw. Here it looked to be a touchdown, the play you're talking about, Chris. And I don't think he was doing anything fancy. Just getting ready to hold on to the ball with 2 hands. Somehow the ball slipped out. They had to settle for a field goal. I mentioned earlier, if Ole Miss is going to put 2 safeties, we'll see if we can pull back and show you this. If they're going to play 2 safeties, you got to get into the middle of the field somehow. Right now, it looks like they have, starting with 1 safety there right in the middle, which can open up a crease.
Francois pressured, hit, delivers a strike, and a touchdown. Travis Rudolph right in the middle of the field. As you called for, he took a huge shot, but finally the Noles find the end zone.
Well, we just talked about the middle of the field, attacking the middle of the field. They motion him here and work into the middle. See all the space in this area. Nice design by Jimbo Fisher. Rudolph, his best receiver, right there. And how about the young freshman growing up right there? Waited until the last second until he had Rudolph where he wanted him for the touchdown.
Marquise Haynes is a pass rusher extraordinaire who's going to do that job on Sunday. He leveled the young quarterback who stood in and delivered a much needed score for the Noles. Cut the lead, and they'll get the ball to begin the second half.
Yeah, and they went right over top of Johnson again with pressure. One of the better rushers in the entire SEC. Haynes got into him. He knew he was going to take a hit. You know, that's what people love to see from quarterbacks. We know he can throw the ball. Is he tough? Well, we just learned about Deondre Francois. He is tough to take that hit and make that throw in a crucial time when you need a touchdown. Keeps his team in the game, and the Noles get the ball back to start the second half.
Yeah, he definitely was feeling some pain. He didn't even know they'd scored. He was just laying on the ground when teammates came to check on him. They're looking at the left arm. 5 of 8 for 75. It was all Francois on that drive.
You know what that can do for him as far as just a confidence builder? It's not just that he executed and he put 5 of 8 and ended up throwing a touchdown pass. You go in at halftime, you survive the first 30 minutes. You're still in the game. It wasn't perfect, but to end this half like that for Francois, he goes into the locker room feeling a lot better about himself and his teammates. The receivers in line, they feel a lot better about it.
Let's hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't a perfect half. A gift for understatement, my friend. Here comes Davis on the kickoff return. Spun down. And the Rebels don't figure to get too creative here in the final seconds.
Now let's watch this hit.
You played the position, you're so exposed when you make that throw on the left side of your body.
And you really know, you see a white jersey closing in on you, and in Haynes' case it's a blur, but you have to do your best, all the training, all the drill work on locking down and reading coverage and making the throw, and you really don't feel it until the touchdown is scored and somebody needs to pick you up and take you to the sidelines. That's when you start to feel it.
Yeah, you saw his center Eberle has had a rough first half escorting him off. So as Jameis looks on, the man who's often compared to him in his first college action throws a crucial touchdown pass to cut the lead to 15. They've won their last 6 regular season games when trailing a half. That doesn't include the bowl loss to Houston we talked about. And we'll get the football down 15. A superb first half for Kelly as the Rebels were perfect in the red zone. To Sam.
Coach, first things first, is your quarterback okay?
Yes, he is. He's fine.
So he'll go back in when we start
yes.
back.
And he's playing one heck of a half of football. The guys around him need to step up and be the experienced guy.
Let's talk about that real quick. Your O-line, there seem to be some communication issues. What's going on up there?
They're missing blocks and just jumping, getting antsy. Got to quit it, got to grow up. That boy's playing a heck of a game. Dalvin getting his feet back on Travis. We can move the ball. We just got to grow up and have consistent, putting self-inflicted wounds with the penalties.
I'll let you save your voice. Chris?
It may be too late. Could someone else step in and make the halftime speech?
That's tough to communicate down there.
He had a lot to say before the game. You probably have more to say now. The Rebels lead at 28-13 in Orlando. The halftime report coming up right after these messages. And welcome back to the Camping World Kickoff, presented on ESPN by National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Ole Miss on top 28-13. The lead was 22, cut to 15. Noles late touchdown drive, and they'll get the ball to begin this third quarter. Very physical, flag-filled first half, and Kirk Chad Kelly, a sharp start. A little lucky there.
Yeah, the freshman receiver makes a heck of a play to tip it up to himself. But Chad Kelly, for the most part, has made some great decisions, taking advantage of a few busting coverages. There's his main man, Evan Ingram, who's had a great night himself. But tell you what, Deondre Francois and the way the first half ended, he's over 200 yards throwing. And I thought you and I talked about it, and Jimbo Fisher brought it up to Sam. You want to point the finger at him. What's going on with him? It's about the guys around him.
Here's the Camping World Drive recap. He's taken at least a dozen shots. He's been sacked a couple times, but he's had to show his toughness, including on that scoring play.
Sure, I thought he could not have thought of a better way to end it, leading him down for a big score before the half, and then taking a hit from one of the top pass rushers in the country in Haynes, and delivering the ball right on the money to Rudolph, and now they get the ball back.
It's been a busy first half, already 27 pass attempts for Francois. Again, back in his hometown. If you weren't with us at the top, redshirt freshman who played on this field in high school and in the Noles spring game, trying to pull off some second half heroics. Back down to Sam.
Yeah, Chris, I caught up with Hugh Freeze and asked him if he expected this sort of offensive success really early, and he said, to be honest, yeah, I did. I thought our tempo really confused him. So I asked him about complacency. He said our defense was so bad and blew so many assignments, it wasn't hard to get them fired up in there. That they, of course, lost their best corner, and he said if we want to make a statement and elevate our status in college football, we have to finish this strong.
That's a good point, Sam. Plenty to talk about on both sides, because the Rebels did kind of break down some penalties, some missed assignments to let the Noles cut the gap.
Whitfield and Wilson back deep.
Whitfield and Wilson are deep, and another touchback.
In my opinion, this is where Jimbo Fisher is one of the better offensive minds in the country. There are some miscues, some mistakes. We saw this with a 14 team with Jameis Winston. You'd be scratching your head saying, what's wrong with Florida State and Jameis Winston? They'd come back in the second half. It was a combination of Jameis getting hot. but the plays, the formations, the personnel groupings, he'll make adjustments. He'll try to attack this defense, and he's going to try to put his quarterback in favorable situations based on what he learned in that first half. And Jameis could help too.
I wonder if Jameis was in the locker room at halftime, perhaps had a word. Unofficial coach. Play action on the first play. Francois to the edge, fires far side. It's complete. And knocked down after the play is Whitfield. It's a good catch, no flag, and the Noles are playing with some tempo up near midfield.
How about that? First play of the game, first play of the second half, rather. He comes out, rolls his quarterback away from any pressure. Plenty of time, and I think they're confident with their ability to attack this secondary. Remember, injury to Webster is out. Bridges has been out. They're playing some young guys that are inexperienced on the edge.
Cook, delay. It's been tough going for the Heisman candidate tonight. That fumble that went out of bounds there ended up being a 4-point play because they couldn't punch it in from the 3, had to settle for 3 points.
He's had a very, very quiet night running the football, only 33 yards. Has been involved, as you mentioned, in catching the ball out of the backfield with 6 receptions. Ole Miss determined to stop him and this running game. Can they do it for 60 minutes?
Francois in the pocket, delivers wide open over the middle. Wilson darting down to the 25-yard line. The Noles are in business again.
See, that's the adjustments. Nice job of protecting him. Get the ball underneath. Mix up in coverage. You had a couple guys playing man, and Carlos Davis was not playing man. He let Wilson go underneath. There was nobody left in the middle, and big yards.
2 catches by the SETI senior receiver so far. Their first down throw, gets it out. Dalvin Cook takes a shot and is wrestled down. A physical battle there with Terry Caldwell, the linebacker. Always tipped by Haynes on the way out.
Sure was. Good job by Cook to secure the ball, and a really good job by Caldwell, the senior, being able to make that tackle out in space against Dalvin Cook. That's a tough ask. Use whatever you can.
Wrestling match and
slow him down.
Field. 2nd and 4. Cook picks his way. Boy, you see the Rebels dart right up in that, as they say, the A gap.
Yeah, well, they're shooting gaps, and they're changing their slant. This time it's actually Gross, Isaac Gross. Watch him shoot his gap here, and he has such quickness that Rick Leonard didn't have any chance at all to try to come down and protect that gap. It made it easy. They're mixing up the way they're slanting and angling, making it tough on the communication of that offensive line when they run the football.
Scoring drive late in the half. Noles converted their last 2 third downs. They need 4 here. Another throw. Francois fires, tipped away at the last minute. Nice job to break up the play there. Had a man open. The Rebels using all sorts of different faces in the defensive backfield now with the injuries.
Yeah, that looked like Moore, who did a good job. He had a couple receivers open underneath, decides to take a chance because I think he's so confident in Travis Rudolph to make the play. So he tried to squeeze it in, probably could have checked it down for the first down. But a great play there by Moore, who hasn't played much at all tonight.
So Ricky Aguayo, his big brother Roberto watching, knocks it just down the middle, just like Roberto used to do. So the Noles 10 points in short order here to trim the lead to 12. And it's Fisher and his star tailback having a conversation. Another reminder, Battle at Bristol, presented by Wells Fargo on ABC next Saturday night. Virginia Tech and Tennessee. Pilot Flying J battle at Bristol. Are you going to try to turn on the racetrack down there? I guess maybe they're not let you because the football field's in the middle.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be allowed to do that. I'm actually going to go over to Knoxville on Thursday and visit with the Vols and Butch Jones.
That'd be the professional thing to do. But driving a race car would be fun.
It would be. It would be.
I suggest you, if you ever get the chance, at Daytona, they get to turn some laps there.
How fast were you going?
They don't have a speedometer in the car, but
what do you guess?
It's about 175. Pretty good.
What?
Yeah, it's just restrictor plate. Straight to the floor, no throttle out.
Are they allowed to take you out there at 175?
I think the game day is going to be there too. I think you guys ought to orchestrate something.
Oh yeah, we'll
Get Rinaldi behind the wheel.
We'll throw Pollock out there. Let him drive the car. He's become the crazy guy on the show. He jumps up on things. He splits his pants. He's the crazy guy.
Remember the last time that Chad Kelly and Rebels offense had the ball in a meaningful possession? They had a big lead. Now all of a sudden it's a 12-point game. Take a look at this week's rankings brought to you by Goodyear. You know what happened first few days of this Labor Day weekend? Number 3 Oklahoma sent packing out of the top 5. LSU fell in Lambeau. Now number 4 down by a dozen. Notre Dame, another top 10 team to lose.
Tennessee held on.
Where do you put Houston, Kirk, in your rankings jumping in?
Probably 7 or 8. Where would you put them?
That sounds about right. Some of their fans are thinking top 5.
Where were they last week?
Outside of the top 10. So Kelly, play action again, working the middle of the field. That one's incomplete. Well defended there. Trey Marshall begin to focus in on Evan Ingram, who was the focal point of the passing game in the first half.
Yeah, that time Matthew Thomas, the inside linebacker, actually did a really good job of reading the eyes of Chad Kelly. He led him right to the throw.
Again, this one intended for Ingram, off his hands and intercepted. Marcus Lewis, the second pick for Kelly, but that one was on the receiver.
And the ball's coming in, and that's a ball that Ingram typically would make a catch, give him a chance there on 3rd down. This is what Florida State does. Again, I keep going back to 2014. Just when you think things are looking terribly, they're able to turn it around. That's Marcus Lewis, a sophomore, who's out covering somebody else. Tip ball, that's why you always want to have your head around. Ball's in the air, he goes down and makes a big interception to give the young freshman quarterback great field position.
One of those guys in the old secondary can play multiple positions. Makes him even more valuable. So now Francois trying to further cut into the lead. Steps up, gets away, and incomplete. Again, knocked down after the throw. Guys all around his feet and ankles as he tries to get it away, Kirk.
Yeah, that is, again, a great job by the big man, DJ Jones, getting in there and applying that pressure. Forcing him, they want to get after that quarterback before he is ready to let that ball fly. His receiver is breaking free, but because of the pressure up front, that play didn't have much of a chance. DJ Jones, 93 again, in the middle of that defense.
On 2nd and 10, quarterback was waiting for something, didn't happen, but just takes off. Francois in the open field, diving toward the pylon, knocked out short. Wasn't pretty at the beginning of the play, but it worked out well.
Ole Miss had the play sniffed out. Bobo Wilson came in motion. Good block here by Rudolph to give his quarterback even more of a chance to get it into the end zone. But Ole Miss had this play defended. Watch Tony Connor right here. He cannot lose contain on the quarterback. They saw Bobo Wilson coming in motion. They knew what to expect. Quarterback aborted the play, took off, and Tony Connor loses contain.
Wes Patrick in the I formation on 1st and goal. Got a big defensive tackle in there. They hand it up short to the fullback, who muscles near the goal line. Stevenson thinks he scored.
Well, I thought he did too.
He did. Yep. There's a consensus late. And Lewis's pick. Francois' scramble. Stevenson's touchdown. And here come the Noles.
Interception. Nice play by the young quarterback on a broken play to pick up huge yards. And then the fullback dive. Old school to get it into the end zone. And you're right. Just like that, we're not even 5 minutes into the second half, and Florida State about to cut this within 5.
Scored in the final minute of the first half, and now 10 points in the first 3.5 minutes. So less than 5 minutes, 17-point burst by Florida State. Just double checking whether or not Stevenson crossed before the knee went down. Hard to see in that pile. Stevenson, the senior from Barstow, usually a blocker, not a prominent part of the offense at this point. They use that strength down near the goal line, all 240 pounds.
All of a sudden, this stadium comes alive for the first time since maybe the pregame.
Just another look to see if the
ball broke the plane. Can't see the football there. That's a tough one.
Yeah, good luck discerning anything from the angles we've seen so far. It was a late call. The officials kind of huddled together and determined that Stevenson had crossed.
There's a good look. Watch the knees at the same time. Still up. Still up.
Yeah, he hadn't touched yet.
Touchdown. Here's another look. Yeah, you can see the ball across the line there.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Touchdown.
Pure leg strength. The Stevenson got low. The defenders were low too, and he just drove forward.
And how about DeAndre Francois? Talked about how the drive at the end of the first half could be a confidence builder for him and the rest of the offense. And they sure have taken advantage of their two opportunities here to start this second half.
What was a big lead is down to 5. Interception made by Marcus Lewis off the carom by Ingram. Quarterback scampers down close and sets up Stevenson's touchdown run. All of a sudden, the pressure back on Kelly and the Rebels. They were their own worst enemies in the first half. 11 penalties, fell behind 28-6, but they have roared to a 17-point run. Now, Chad Kelly and that Rebels offense trying to rediscover some of the first half magic. Davis brings it out, had the edge, but stumbled at the 15. Sam?
Chris, while their teammates were all celebrating the touchdown, the two starting safeties for Florida State, Derwin James and Trey Marshall, were stuck on the ground. Both of them dealing with very painful leg cramps right now. We'll see how they do out there. Something to keep an eye on.
60 minutes, guys. I mean, it's one thing to battle and look good for 30. When you play this Noles team led by Jimbo Fisher, you better be ready to battle for 60. 6 times since 13. They've trailed at halftime, and they've come back to win all 6 of those games. They don't give up.
Kelly, a rare handoff to Judd. Hugh Freeze, low expectations really for the running game tonight, and they haven't got much other than Kelly's scrambles.
Isn't it always amazing? A defense that has been maligned and confused. Offense makes a few plays, energy comes up in the building, and all of a sudden it feels different with that Florida State defense. This is where Chad Kelly's got to step up and make a play.
Brasley ran on late, so they gave the Noles a chance to substitute. They didn't, and Kelly is chased, lost the ball. It's out, still being fought for. Florida State's got it.
The play, the leader, DeMarcus Walker, comes from the offense's left all the way around to not give up on his play. Tremendous effort right here. Watch him with an inside move, a little move to the outside. He goes right by him, and he's such a good athlete. This ball is definitely knocked loose. He did not bring his arm forward. The ball is loose. And the rest of the Florida State defense sees the ball on the ground and jumps on it.
Derek Nani with the recovery. 2 Rebel turnovers in the last 3 plays from scrimmage. And the Noles, if you can believe it, can take the lead right here. Cook makes a cut. Muscles down to the 5. As the war chant echoes through this, quote, neutral field.
It's the second time that they've run this power play where they bring the left guard, Derek Kelly, around to lead the way for Cook, and it's set up by great blocks on the play side by that right side of that offensive line and the tight end Izzo to open up some room for Kelly to come around. And if you give Dalvin Cook a chance to get downhill, it's very tough to tackle him.
First down line is at the 1. Second down, Cook again. Cut down short. It'll be 3rd and 2. Zedrick Woods and Caldwell tackled him.
And those safeties and linebackers for Ole Miss down in this area. Obviously, their backs up against the end zone. They've got to fire downhill in a hurry, especially when you know Dalvin Cook's more than likely going to get the football. They line up in the I formation. They're about 80%, 90% guaranteed to give the ball to their talented tailback.
They were a poor 3rd down team, 9th in the ACC last year.
Just said how they get into the I formation. Remember the bootleg or the naked with an athletic quarterback, also an option.
They flip it on the end. Whitfield. Florida State takes the lead. A furious rally fueled by a couple of turnovers, and the Noles are in front improbably.
Watch the linebackers in this area right here. They get frozen because of the respect for Dalvin Cook. They're frozen just enough because of that respect, and they get outflanked. And he's able to get a block by the fullback and walk into the end zone with that speed from Whitfield.
They go for 2 now, up 1 to stretch it to a 3-point lead. Freeze's defense reeling all of a sudden. Whitfield, who scored, comes to the sidelines. Francois looks across the middle and a misfire there. Auden Tate, the sophomore, is running inside. The throw went outside. So 2-pointer fails, but the Noles up by a point.
Well, this DeAndre Francois growing up right in front of our eyes and his head coach's eyes. Jimbo told Sam Ponder walking off at halftime, it's not the quarterback. We got to get other guys to play a bit good around him. This is how he ended the first half, with that touchdown pass. And we mentioned that may be a turning point for him, and maybe in his career. Took a big hit from Marquise Haynes. Had to be helped off the field, threw the touchdown, kept him in the football game, and since then has looked like a different guy. The way he looks at his coach, the body language, the confidence. That's what happens when you get a few reps under your belt.
Exactly right. Remember Kirk, the scramble and 3rd down that set up the touchdown throw. So Francois stepping up big despite a punishing first half physically for him. And in 6:11 of clock time, they have a 23-zip run.
Look at that.
This Ole Miss defense depleted, as you said, especially in the secondary. Still getting after him up front, but they're finding ways to get the ball out and make plays downfield. Davis will not bring it out. If you're Chad Kelly and Hugh Freeze, what are you thinking? Now suddenly you're behind.
Well, you realize that you've lost momentum. Florida State right now has been doing a great job. Turnovers the last couple times they've had the ball. You know what you do, Chris, is you've got to get back to doing what you were doing well, which was tempo. They need a first down to create tempo. They need to be aggressive. They need to be assertive at how they attack the Florida State defense, because the Noles right now are playing with a lot of confidence on defense as well. But Chad Kelly, didn't he call himself when he was asked at SEC Media Days if he's the best quarterback? He said he's the best quarterback in the nation. This is where the best player on the field and the best quarterback in the nation, arguably, at least in his mind, needs to make plays for his team.
He's 2 of 9 since the fast start. Grassley trying to make a play in the running game. That sweep is thrown down. Look, Derwin James up there, like a safety, looking like a middle linebacker.
Really hard against a Florida State defense with that kind of speed to run a slow developing counter play with a couple of linemen that are leading the way.
2nd and 7, incomplete. Threw the ball off the hands of Stringfellow, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
ball is thrown in a place where Stringfellow in the first half was making those plays.
He's just crawling off of the field, but the Rebels aren't slowing down. Kelly downfield, threw it behind Jefferson, who couldn't fight the way back. That was freshman versus freshman Lamonte Taylor in coverage, and it's 4th down.
Charles Kelly dials up a nice twist up front. And the reason he couldn't get the ball there is Jacob Pugh came from the right all the way around into the middle, and he gets to chest. See how he comes around all the way around. They didn't pick him up, and Kelly gets hit right as he releases the ball. He couldn't get anything on it to get the ball to an open receiver in Van Jefferson.
Will Gleason, the Aussie, in the punt. The downside of running tempo and trying to be urgent is that when you don't make a first down, defense is right back on the field. Gleason, a low boot, bounces, and what a play trying to field the ball. Inexplicably was Wilson. Knowles very, very fortunate to retain possession. Wow. You got creamed, but the decision you have to question.
Yeah, that ball looked like Terry Caldwell might have been the one down covering, and he hit him. It either looked like either just before or maybe just as the ball was actually touching Wilson.
Knowles back to work, up a point, but avoiding disaster here in traffic. Wilson with a rough decision.
The 2016 Camping World Kickoff is presented by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and in part by Windows 10. Upgrade today and do great things.
Florida State making all kind of plays, almost gave the momentum back to the Rebels there on that punt. Now, once the ball bounces, the returner is not afforded the same protection as if he catches it in the air.
Yeah, so even if the ball hits the Ole Miss player here in the helmet, he can lower the boom there on the Florida State returner, Wilson, and not have a penalty.
It's a veteran return man making that decision. Either flinch in the Knowles front.
Ball start. Offense number 81. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That was more the first half Florida State team with the penalties and miscues. 11
first penalty of the quarter.
Yeah, 11 penalties in the first half.
Francois on 1st and 15 flips it short. That's Izzo, and the tight end, who figures to be utilized a little bit more this year, has not gotten involved tonight until then.
Just love how they're using their backs. Typically it's Dalvin Cook. That time it's Patrick, the backup running back. But when they put the ball into the stomach of the running back, it's freezing and getting the attention of the linebackers. So the misdirection and the play action pass where they're checking it down has really been effective.
That was Patrick in spelling Cook. And they feed the big guy, but he's dropped in the backfield. Storming through to make the play is a true freshman, Benito Jones.
Yeah, and again, this is Jones, but it's also the defense slanting into the boundary. When you shoot the gap like that, you're kind of guessing based on formation that they're shooting, that they're going to run the football into the boundary, and the quick true freshman Jones makes a heck of a play to set up this third down.
He's emotional, Kirk. He lost his dad to a heart attack last week, playing inspired tonight. They need 10. Francois scampers free in the open field. First down, much more. Still running. Cuts it back, knocked down at the 45. Is this the same guy we saw in the first quarter?
I'm telling you, the game's slowing down for him, and he's making great decisions. This time, Ole Miss blitzes, and they spy with 21 this time. Caldwell, he's actually in position here to make the play, but because of the speed of Francois, he's able to get to the corner and pick up the first down.
That's his second 31-yard run tonight. Opponents will have to deal with that his whole career. From the pocket now. Short strike. And the catch is made by Devontae Phillips, who gets involved for the first time. Picks up about 8.
With these backup corners in the game, they're giving a big cushion on the edge. And Tony Bridges, who's played a lot of football last year, number one, he's not 100% healthy and at times guesses. And so they've kind of backed off. And it's a good job of adjusting by Jimbo Fisher and DeAndre Francois, recognizing that and not necessarily going downfield, but using some receivers to clear that defensive backfield out and then just go underneath.
2nd and 2. You feed the fullback Stevenson. Kirk, this Rebels defense has been on the field a long time tonight. They've had the ball less than 12 minutes. Knowles had about 28 minutes, so they're wearing down here.
Well, Coach Womack, Dave Womack's done a good job for Hugh Freeze, the defensive coordinator, and he mentioned that in our meeting yesterday, the importance in this heat, humidity, and this being excited, rotating bodies. He said that, you know, we've got a bunch of people up front. We're going to play. We got a lot of linebackers, and so they're very confident. But you know, start to look at how many plays they've been out there. This is the 60th snap right now.
You fake it to Patrick. Francois. Wide open Izzo. Dragged down to the 2. Everything Jimbo's dialing up is working now.
Yeah, he just gets lost. What a well-designed play by Jimbo Fisher with play action. The play action and rolling to his right gets the defense going one way. Right here's Izzo, who's going to work his way down the sideline. Watch how he just eventually gets lost, kind of hesitates. Linebacker loses him. And that's a nice job by the quarterback as well, just letting the play develop, showing patience. You're trying to get the defense out of position, and it's exactly what they did.
It's Patrick again in for Cook in the I formation. Gets it. And gets stacked up. Florida State threatening to make this a 30-zip run since they trail 28-6.
Talk about a tale of two halves.
You see a lot of 30-zip runs between two high-quality teams.
Ole Miss in the second half, what, 7 plays, -1 yards, 2 turnovers.
With Cook watching, it's Patrick and Stevenson, and a throw to a wide open Izzo to cap the drive.
Manyeyo, a transfer from Oregon State, just doesn't pick up Izzo. Middle linebacker who's not played a lot tonight, number 8. He just doesn't see him. Izzo goes right behind him. You can see number 8 there trailing. Nobody picked him up. And he's the main target, he and Rudolph, when they get down inside that 5 or 10 yard line. That's who they want to throw the ball to. But again, Manyeyo has not played a lot of football. And talking to Chris, what you were saying earlier, rotating a lot of bodies in there. You'd standing on the sidelines most of the game. You got to be mentally sharp when you come into the game. Know your assignments. That time, blown coverage, easy throw for Francois.
Wow, perfect again. A dozen minutes on the clock. The Noles have put together a 30-0 run. Rebels reeling now in Orlando. Jameis looking on. DeAndre Francois has turned around this debut game in his hometown. Remember Jameis against Pittsburgh, Labor Day weekend, trying to prove to his teammates, everybody, that he deserved the starting job over Jake Coker. Tough quarterback competition that monster night. A different situation for Francois.
Well, I think it's different because of what he's had to deal with, the defense he's faced, the offensive line play early in the game. He didn't have very much help, but boy, he has settled into this game.
Flag down as Davis bounces the return, gets the edge. It is knocked down short of the 25. The flag is there on the far side, way back near where the kickoff team may have been offside on the kickoff. Francois didn't have to compete tooth and nail for this job because of the injury to Sean Maguire. He had the spring basically to himself with the #1 unit, but many feel would have won the job anyway had Maguire not been injured.
Well, a totally different body language and look in his
Offside,
eye right now.
kicking team number 6. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down, Mississippi.
So the Rebels will try to stop the bleeding here from their 28. Hakeem Judd, who was out the last series, is back in. The turnover bug has bitten this Rebels offense. A couple of them here in the third quarter. Interception off the hands of Ingram and then a fumble by Kelly.
If you're Ole Miss and Chad Kelly, you need one play. You need a play to stop the bleeding.
Quarterback keeps it. Gets a block, but is tackled at the 30. Derwin James, can you block him?
Well, not to mention that a 4-year starter at tight end, Evan Ingram, is trying to block him. I mean, Derwin James is one of the more talented players in the country. Say he can play any position on this defense. He's so versatile. I said nose guard? Oh yeah, he'll play anywhere.
Hugh Freeze said it's, quote, alarming how good he is. Batted down to the line of scrimmage. The big boys up front for the Noles starting to impose themselves. That's DeMarcus Christmas.
Yeah, when you throw a pass like that, he's trying to get a wheel route down the sideline. You got to get back and have a little bit of suddenness, a little quickness to the drop and to get the ball out. A little deliberate there, and again, kind of staring that receiver down that time and allowed Christmas to time it up and bat it down.
3rd and 9 and some urgency for Ole Miss. Kelly dropped. DeMarcus Walker got him again. The man who forced the fumble last series ends this series.
Yeah, right against the left guard Patterson, and this is men against boys. He is a defensive end that they move on 3rd down into the inside. Watch this move right here against the sophomore. A little swim move, gets around him, and I'll tell you, when he gets in after the quarterback, you're in no man's land. He has such strong hands and quickness side to side. He's going to bring you down every time.
Wunderlich, it's a punt. You see Bobo Wilson makes a sensible decision this time. Yes, just makes the fair catch at the 25-yard line, and now the Noles with an 8-point cushion near the end of the 3rd quarter. Go back to work. What a quarter it's been ever since they grabbed momentum late in the half. There's the interception, not Kelly's fault. 2 31-yard runs by Francois.
Yeah, the 2 turnovers really sparked him. I think got their confidence established on both sides of the ball. It's amazing that when Francois and the offense started to play better, it's had an impact on the defense and the way they've performed. In the last 5 drives, he's 12 of 17, 156 yards with a couple touchdowns, and 62 yards rushing. He's doing it running and throwing.
They fake it to Cook, who's back in the game. Francois looking downfield. Sideline route. Batted down at the last minute. Nyquan Murray was running, but A.J. Moore, the nickelback, saved the touchdown.
Wow, what a play by the nickelback Moore. The last few steps here, that ball is actually thrown pretty well. And Moore takes a chance. He goes airborne because of those long arms. Boy, that is textbook to knock that ball loose. Great job.
He's a guy that struggled as a fill-in last year when Tony Connor got injured. Has improved his game. Francois hit and dropped. The flag comes in. Marquise Haynes grabbed the quarterback.
It looked like maybe a hold there by Johnson.
We are seeing some pass rush talent in this game tonight, Kirk, all over the place.
Haynes has been doing it the last couple of years in the SEC. You can make a pretty strong case. He's one of the top pass rushers in the country.
Offense number 77. That penalty is declined, brings up 3rd down.
It's Rod Johnson there.
Yeah, it's really just his first step. And Johnson's played a lot of football as a junior, but watch him. He lines up wide, but watch how quick he gets off the ball. I mean, he's already buying. And that's the blind side of the quarterback. He didn't have any chance at all. Nice job there again, jumping that cadence and the snap there by Haynes.
Rebels showing big pressure on 3rd and 15. They hand it off to Cook. Dalvin Cook gets the edge, gets the first down, out to the 40. Is he starting to heat up?
And they're starting to block for him. I'm very surprised that they lost contain there. They did not set the edge to this defense. I mean, that was pretty easy. He didn't even have to really get a block. The guard was trying to lead around. I think Dalvin Cook was probably as surprised as anybody. Jimbo Fisher, I don't want to say was waving the white flag, but I don't think he expected to pick up that many yards on 3rd and long. He was just trying to play field position now with an 8-point lead.
I like the third quarter yards, 190 to -7. They got 18 on 3rd and 15 with a run. That's a deflating play for a defense group that's already gassed. They better get stout right now before this thing gets out of hand.
You know, and they had played so well on those first 2 plays. They get the 3rd down and they give up the 1st down, and now they get to start all over again trying to slow down Dalvin Cook. And when Cook gets going, that play action pass game becomes so much more lethal for Francois in the underneath passing game, because those linebackers and safeties have to respect the threat of Cook running the ball.
Near sideline, it's Wilson making the catch, shoved out short of the marker, but they'll need just 2 on 3rd down.
I think Jimbo Fisher deserves a lot of credit for the adjustments that he is known for making in the 2nd half.
You feel he's as good as anybody after halftime?
I do. I said it before this run that look out, because we've seen him do this before with Jameis Winston, and now he's doing it with Francois. He figures out what worked, what didn't, makes adjustments. But he deserves credit, Francois, for just getting his confidence going. And the offensive line that had a terrible first half collectively has played much better here in the 2nd half.
Jimbo's got no voice, but he's still got the know-how. Francois on the roll. Very simple, old school looking play. Moves the chains, and it's into Ole Miss territory.
You know, when you start to really look at him, now that we've had a half to watch him, and everybody wants to always compare quarterbacks probably after Jameis Winston to Jameis Winston. And Jameis is special. He's doing things on Sundays now, doing great things. But in the college game and in this system, watching Francois, he is a really dangerous runner who's only going to become that much more dangerous with the more knowledge and recognition that he picks up.
They picked up 6 of their last 7 on 3rd down. And Francois fires incomplete. It was after a 1-for-6 start. Hollering, but no flag. It was Jalen Jones covering Wilson. Seeing a lot of faces in that secondary that you don't normally see.
No, that's a true freshman out there playing, and he's been playing quite a bit tonight. Jalen Julius is another one, a redshirt freshman. Crowd is frustrated. They felt that the young defensive back actually held on to the receiver.
And 11 seconds of what has been a stunning, dominant 3rd quarter for Florida State. Francois escapes, fires, sideline, caught, 1st down. Again, Wilson.
And there is the cushion. Look at this cushion. They roll him out where he's comfortable, but look at this right here, and he's bailing. I mean, there's the 1st down marker right here. You're bailing out. You're already giving him a 10-yard cushion, and now you're bailing out. But again, this is a true freshman out there on an island by himself, and that's how they're trying to protect him. But Jimbo doing a good job at just saying, if you're going to give us a 1st down, we'll roll out and take it every time.
If you wandered away for a moment, you might be stunned. Florida State, a 30-zip run, once down by 22, will now start the final quarter up by 8, looking for more in Orlando. Camping World Kickoff presented by National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, set for the final quarter after a 3rd period of total FSU domination. -7 total yards for Ole Miss. There was a time in this game where they were way ahead in total yards. Now it's 446 to 305. The Rebels have been going backwards.
60 minutes of football, right?
At least.
Wait, I'm saying when you play the Noles, you play them for 60.
Isn't that part of Jimbo's pregame speech? Francois pulls it, fires it, far side. And all of a sudden, all this underneath stuff is wide open. That's Rudolph.
You know, with those Defensive backs again giving that cushion. This is something that even towards the end of the first half, the coaches upstairs and Jimbo recognize that not only do you accomplish getting great yards, you just make it so much easier on the quarterback. Surprised that Dave Womack, the defensive coordinator from Ole Miss, isn't rolling the dice a bit and taking that cushion away and trying to force him to go around him. Maybe he just fears that big play potential.
Cook trying to deliver a big play, cuts it back. This time they do set the edge and wrestle him down, but he's got first down yardage. I think what Womack feared, though, is what we're seeing. His defense is on the field a long time. The Noles have run 22 more plays and the ball about 19 more minutes. Sports Center, buddy Scott Van Pelt following us. Highlights from the U.S. Open, NFL news, and of course a recap of this game. So on to watch ESPN now. First down. Plenty of time. Another quick, accurate little dart and a completion to Wilson. Healthy first down gain.
You wonder if Ole Miss's defense understands the magnitude of this drive. The way this second half has gone. Looking at an 8-point deficit right now. If Florida State were to score a touchdown and all of a sudden you're down maybe 15 points, you're looking at a very, very difficult hole to climb out of. Whereas if you can hold them maybe to a field goal attempt, you go down 11, you're still thinking, hey, we're still within striking distance.
They desperately need to create a turnover. Haven't yet. Francois fires toward the end zone, just over the hands. Whitfield was running there, defended by Bridges.
And again, that's the matchup. They're going after Bridges. That must have been the film study all week long. If you see number one isolated without a safety behind him, we're going after him. Because no matter where he is lined up, whether he's playing corner on the outside, nickel back on the inside, Francois every single time is dialing up number one. That time he was actually on the inside against Whitfield. Whitfield beat him with that soft cushion for the touchdown. He just couldn't hold on to the ball.
So your point, Kirk, this is a huge third down play. You need 6. Play clock at 2. Got to hurry. They just get it off. Pressure immediately. An attempted pass. The ball's loose. Still fighting for it. Signaled fumble, Ole Miss recovery.
But they'll take a look at this to see if that right arm was coming forward.
Marquise Haynes delivered the shot.
Haynes came in from behind, but Sean Youngblood actually forced the ball to come out, Chris, from in front of him.
Jimbo wants to check the big board.
Watch 38 come from the top of your screen. Haynes flushes him, actually almost has it, but right there, by him pushing him, is what got the ball, forced the ball to come out.
The arm was coming forward.
Looked like his right arm was coming forward. The hand.
Yeah, his arm was coming forward. It was hit. I think they're going to overturn this, don't you, Dave Kataya? Fumble was ruled.
I do think they're going to overturn it. Here's why. The arm is going forward. He has control of the ball with that forward motion. That's an incomplete pass, in my opinion.
Rebels are over the ball. Offense on the field. They haven't yet stopped to look at this. The Big 12 replay official is Gary Brown. Wow. They don't review this, but they are holding up play anyway.
There's a
Ruling on the field of a fumble is under further review.
Dave,
I want to ask you something, because there was one of the shots that we looked at that the helmet hitting his elbow forced the arm to come forward. The 38 Youngblood, his helmet hit his arm, which forced the hand to come forward, and then the ball came out. I don't think he actually was moving his arm forward. It was, you'll see from a different angle, the helmet helped it. And I just want to ask you right here, watch his helmet. That's what brought the hand forward.
To me, you make a good point, but to me, that arm is a hitch on that elbow, and it starts forward, then the helmet hits it.
So I guess my question is, can the helmet cause the arm to go forward, and then can it still be considered not necessarily the quarterback in a throwing motion?
It can. He has to have control of his arm. As you can see here, to me, that he's going forward with his hand. We'll see.
I would agree. I mean, the arm was hit and the ball came out, but it's
a tough one.
To me, clearly moving forward.
Yep.
That's Gary Brown.
The whole key is that arm moving forward. When the helmet hits the arm, it's already started forward with control of the ball.
Yeah, it looked like it just had started, but I definitely think the helmet helped finish it through.
I would agree with you. But the key is the forward motion early.
Yeah.
If they do overturn this call, it'll be 4th and 6 for Florida State at the 23. So
stretch the hammies out. Here we go.
About a 40-yard field goal attempt coming. Just said that the Rebels defense hadn't yet forced a turnover tonight. They're hoping they got one there, but I just don't think that. I don't think it's that fuzzy. I think it's a pretty straightforward call.
Be incompletion, and what did you say? A 43?
Be a 40-yarder.
A 40-yarder.
Yeah. Ball's at the 23.
After further review, the ruling on the field has changed to an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down and 6 at the 23-yard line. Timekeeper, please put 13 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock. 13:02.
Francois probably shouldn't have thrown the ball in that situation, Kirk, but ends up not costing them the turnover. And now we'll see Aguayo, who has those big shoes to fill. His brother Roberto is here, and the true freshman has made his first 3. This is from 40.
Makes it a 2-possession game here if he makes it.
He was backed up and then chose to walk up and confer with Jack Steed, his holder.
Jack Steed,
and you're right, this is crucial.
Ricky Aguayo to attempt the field goal.
Is the lead still 8? And stretch to 11. And the kicking Aguayo family continues to shine. 4 for 4. Ice sweater in his veins.
Ice
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I got ice in my veins.
It is a 2-possession game. Celebrating its 12th year, sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicks. Since 2005, millions have been donated to scholarship funds. Ricky Aguayo, a true freshman, 4 for 4 tonight. And Logan Tyler, the true freshman, kicks off. Been saying true freshman a lot tonight. Here's the Jiffy Lube, we've got you covered, including a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, he is really playing great football right now. He ended that first half, had that touchdown pass to Travis Rudolph, and from that point on, he and his teammates have played great football on the offensive side of the ball. Jimbo Fisher has been able to pick apart this defense with his play calling. He's put Francois into favorable positions to have success. Remember, you just tuned to this game. Ole Miss was dominating early in this game. In fact, they're up 28-10, 28-13 at half. They haven't had a first down since 3 minutes remaining in the first half.
Well, they had -7 yards in the third quarter. Desperately need to make a play here. Defense running out of fuel. Kelly sidesteps the rush, launches it downfield to Ingram, who makes a spectacular catch in traffic at the 30.
Wow. Well, it's one-on-one, straight man. They used formation. 5 receivers from left sideline to the right sideline. No safeties behind. It was just man-to-man backyard football, and he found his man one-on-one against the corner.
42-yard gain, now a slam underneath as Adebojo fights for another first down.
I know they haven't had any success here in the second half, but they score quickly. Their 4 scoring drives tonight, minute 46, 2:19, a minute 56, minute 45.
Kelly near silent. It's a low throw, caught by Van Jefferson. His dad, Sean, 13 years in the NFL, now an NFL receiver coach. Take another look. Did they rule that?
That's a good catch.
Complete? Okay. Just a 3-yard gain, though. Kelly now lofting it in the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. touchdown. That was Jefferson working free. Beat Trey Marshall, who was trying to grab a hold of him. A flag is down. I think it's going to be on the defensive back.
Yeah, it's going to be on Marshall, defensive holding.
You said, Kirk, it only takes a play. Yep. And that was the long connection to Ingram, and suddenly the Rebels are back in business.
That was an amazing throw by Chad Kelly. Again, nothing has gone right in this second half. The big throw to Ingram, but what he just did to the freshman, Van Jefferson, the anticipation, he put it up into the air before Jefferson was ready. He was still trying to fight to get open. He's off to the left, ball's in the air. He's still trying to get open, and next thing you know, he looks up, ball hits him right in the hands.
First career touchdown for the guy with the great receiver bloodlines, and now the Rebels down 5, go for 2. Kelly, incomplete. Tried to rifle the ball to Stringfellow. Tipped there, and so the lead is still 5, but Ole Miss is hanging on.
We just said don't turn this TV off, because when they score, they score quickly. I talked about their previous drives. This one was only 47 seconds. Puts it up in the air, perfectly timed after Jefferson was interfered. I mean, look, watch the freshman trying to get off of Trey Marshall here, and to still be able to throw this after he was held, boom, right in his hands.
Jefferson, nice. Added 17 pounds. They convinced him to redshirt. His dad, of course, the ex-great receiver and coach, pleading with him to be patient. And he has come back and figures to get in the mix as a playmaker this year.
Coaches felt he was the most improved offensive player in the spring. And when you lose Laquan Treadwell and Cody Core, you need some of those younger receivers to come along. It's so much attention about A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf, the true freshmen. But do not forget about Van Jefferson out of Brentwood, Tennessee, near Nashville.
Now, when it was desperately needed, Kelly produced on that drive after a very frustrating third quarter. 4 for 4 in all 75 yards of the drive. It took exactly 47 seconds.
That can impact your defense. We've seen Francois' success get his defense playing with a little bit of mojo. That drive can get the Ole Miss defense back into the game as well.
Noble boots it right to Whitfield, who fielded almost accidentally at the goal line. Breaks free. Kermit Whitfield. Just couldn't quite break free, but in his hometown, he grew up in a very tough area of Orlando, just a couple of blocks from this stadium. Almost busted it, but perhaps reclaimed momentum.
And you and I called a game in a national championship when he had a huge return, a couple good blocks. He has such a good feel. If he can just be able to get through that initial surge of the defense or the kickoff coverage team, right there, that cut right there got him into space. And now the poor kicker, he's just trying to get him back into the rest of that coverage team. They're fortunate he didn't go by the kicker.
46 yards. I was on the sidelines watching that. Brent was with you that night, but I clearly remember that play.
Yeah, you're probably standing right there.
That might have been.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, first down.
I mean, how much would that have meant? As it is, it's a big momentum shift, but Kermit in the Paramore area, he says they don't even consider it Orlando. It's a place the tourists don't go anywhere near. He watched his father shot when he was 12 years old when he lost him. A very, very tough upbringing, but this guy has shown such resilience, perseverance. He's tough on the football field too. 1st and 15 after the penalty. Francois fires high and over the head of Wilson.
I was just going to say, now that you get to a point under 12 minutes to go in the game.
Wilson's down, Kirk, on the Ole Miss sideline, grabbing at his left shoulder. Trying to signal the Florida State trainers to run across here. Jalen Julius gave him a shove, defending him. Let's take a look. A little bump, and he just kind of came down hard on the left shoulder. Didn't appear to be flag worthy. We'll take a timeout.
The 2016 Camping World Kickoff is brought to you by Camping World Get one-stop shopping for everything RV at your nearby Camping World RV Supercenter. And Jiffy Lube. We do more than just oil changes, all in a jiffy.
All the twists and turns of this game. Now you're Francois Kirk. You're up by 5. You get the ball back. And if you're Dave Womack on the other side, what are you thinking?
Well, they have given a cushion that we've talked a lot about tonight to the receivers. And Francois and Jimbo Fisher have thrown a lot of underneath passes and gotten the ball in space to their athletes. I want to see if Dave Womack, the defensive coordinator, takes that cushion away. Is he going to give up those easy throws, or does he try to eliminate them?
And beware Dalvin Cook. He hasn't busted a really long one yet. They fake it to him. Pressure immediately. Francois steps up and will now duck down. Had to elude the charging pressure immediately off the edge by Gates. Caldwell eventually got him.
Yeah, Gates came on outside pressure, kind of walked up, brought the pressure from out here. He does a good job of being able to step up into the pocket. Nice block, just enough there by Cook. And he could force it as a young freshman or just eat it. Decides to eat it, which was a good call. But it does set up now a 3rd down and long. The last time they had 3rd and long, they handed the ball off to Dalvin Cook. He picked up a 1st down. See if Ole Miss decides to come after it. Rush to 4.
Empty backfield. 2 in the play clock, and I think that's a wise timeout by Jimbo Fisher. Don't know if his young quarterback had noticed time was about to expire. I'll spend one here and talk about this 3rd and 15 play. They were not going to just give up. They were going to try to, apparently, unless it was a design quarterback run, they were going to let him pitch it out.
Right. And I think they're right now, Jimbo Fisher, I think he senses he's dealing with a different quarterback mentally than he was in the first half. He's dealing with a different offense. I mean, we keep talking about Francois, but Jimbo Fisher in that huddle, he's challenging the offensive line, probably in the receivers, as much as he is his quarterback. We kept talking about Francois. When's he going to be able to make some plays? But how many times was it 2nd and 15 and 3rd and 18 in that first half?
And they struggled, but they have begun to move the chains regardless of the distance needed on 3rd down after halftime. Balls in the Hokies. Pilot Flying J battle at Bristol on ABC, 8 o'clock next Saturday. Hope you guys get one this good. Big 3rd down.
And 5 receivers empty, meaning he better get rid of the ball quickly.
Rebels rush 4, close in, and I'm fired over the middle, complete. Rudolph, a crucial 3rd and long. He takes another shot but delivers, Kirk.
Well, this is a good job of reading coverage. He needed time because you're going to have a receiver come across the middle to occupy Gates, which opens up a void behind it. Watch the receiver come across. Gates steps up. And how about the courage to make that throw on 3rd down and long? Gates should sink back, make him throw it in front, and then you can make a tackle. But by going up, makes it an easier throw and an automatic 1st down to his best receiver in Rudolph.
They got 27. They've converted 2 3rd and 15s in a row. One on a Cook run and then that completion. Now Dalvin's got it again. And it's another huge emotional and physical test for this defense.
We said the last time Florida State was down here the importance of can they force a field goal versus a touchdown. Now here we are, 10 minutes, and I know they can score fast, but this is big. This is a big sequence of plays here for a beat-up Ole Miss defense against a Florida State offense that, again, has a lot of confidence with this quarterback.
It's kind of the same deal, isn't it? They can force a field goal, still a 1-score game.
Yep. Field goal and you're down 8, touchdown, and wow, makes it very tough.
Second and 10. Francois just throws it into the bench. Again, he was knocked down. Isaac Gross gave chase. How many shots has the young guy taken? He kind of holding his left knee there.
How about Gross, the leader of this defense? They lost a lot from last year. Watch him in the middle. Watch how fast he is. He's 260 pounds. Chasing down the quarterback, and he came down on him.
He's been limping around.
Yeah, you can see Francois. I don't know if it's a cramp or if it's an injury, but he's definitely noticeable limp after that play, after getting chased down by Gross. Another 3rd down and long.
Yep, they need 10 this time.
Played zone on the last third down.
Gets it out quickly. Catch made by Murray, one of the young receivers in this team. Naquan knocked down. It's 4th down. The Rebels defense is able to get a hold, and here comes Aguayo for a 5th field goal attempt tonight.
Last time he had ice in his veins, right?
He did.
On the kick.
Yeah.
That's what he told us.
This is his longest attempt, though. This one's going to be from 44 yards. He's been good on 2 chip shots and 2 40-yarders. To stay perfect in his young career and make it an 8-point lead. Wow. How many more Aguayo brothers are there? Do they have 3 or 4 more? Because they can all kick the ball between the uprights.
No doubt.
8-point game. 9:16 to play in Orlando. This wild weekend, Kirk, began actually in Houston. Late morning kickoff as Brandon Wilson with the kick 6 ignited Houston's win. Clemson won at Auburn. Tigers tried to rally late, couldn't. We saw Bama blow out USC. Texas, electric atmosphere in Austin. They beat the Irish in double overtime, and now here to cap it all off in Orlando. A back and forth game. A couple of seismic momentum shifts here. The Noles lead is 8. So Kelly off that very quick 75-yard touchdown drive. Get back to work.
You have 4 plays, 75 yards in less than a minute. Go back to this touchdown pass, and I made a big deal out of the throw, and it's because the timing of it. And he's throwing to a spot, but it's just, look at this. The ball is out. And look at the receiver on the numbers, Jefferson, trying to work to that spot. He gets held. By the time he kind of gets, he really kind of reestablishes himself on the route. By the time he looked up, the ball is literally 3/4 of the way there and right into his hands. Let's see if Ole Miss can get a little bit more going the way they did on that last drive. It started with a big throw to Ingram.
Only one quarterback in the country had more throws of 20+ yards last year, and that was Jared Goff. This is Ingram, a short play across the 30, but a nice 1st down gain.
Nice high percentage throw to get this drive started.
All the categories, Kirk, that highlight arm strength. Ball was thrown outside the numbers or downfield. Kelly among the best in all those categories last year. 2nd and 4. Lofted over the head of Adeboyejo, who was behind McFadden. That was a missed opportunity.
The success of Ingram can draw the defense's attention. And watch what happens when Ingram works there and how it opens up the sideline. Because of so much success, he gets pulled in.
Kelly is swarmed and dropped. And that 3rd and 4 play is blown up by the Noles defense. And they're going to get the football back.
They just collapsed the pocket. 3 different Noles working their way and just overpowering the Ole Miss offensive line. Big night tonight for DeMarcus Walker. Nadi also. 3rd down and long. That Ole Miss offensive line didn't have much of a chance there.
She only needed 4, but the pressure so great. And now pressure right back on the Ole Miss defense. Is Francois, who's taken shot after shot, limped off the field last time, but you know he's not coming out of this game. Not in his hometown. Not with a performance like this to cap off 8-16 away, perhaps from a victory he's thought about for his whole life.
Taking a lot of hits. And in fact, the last time they were out there, this hit right here from Gross forced him into the tent for Florida State medical staff to examine him. There's Mom.
Yeah, Tasha, not easy being a parent. She's seen her guy take a bunch of hits, but make a bunch of big plays.
Sure has.
Cook knives forward. In Fisher's perfect world, they could just feed number 4, run some clock, and not have to make a high-risk play here. Herky's really been contained. He's run it 20 times for 69 yards, so that's 3.5 a carry. Dropped the ball on that reception when he was en route for a certain touchdown. As a receiver, he's caught 7 for 101. And Swall fires complete. And one more time, it's to Kermit Whitfield. Again, he got pummeled, but that's his 30th completion of the night.
He sure does a good job there, despite the traffic in front of him. Locking in on his receiver and making that throw, stepped right into it.
He's approaching a 400-yard game in his debut against a tough SEC defense. Pulls it, flips it far side, another completion. Again, it's Wilson and Whitfield just giving a hard time to the secondary.
That's pitch and catch against that cushion again. They're going to have to take the cushion away. He's rolling out which he's comfortable with. Bridges is turned again. How many times have they gone after Bridges? What I say the scouting report must have said, if one's by himself, you get without a safety over top, you got to attack him. And they've done that. When they needed a big play, they've gone his way.
Still throwing, still catching. Here's Whitfield, and he's shoved out. Knowles smelling blood here. Up 8 already. Trying to make this a 2-score game. Perhaps use some clock in the meantime.
You keep thinking use some clock, and yet they've only used 1:29 at this point, and it's because Jimbo Fisher, what you said, smelling blood. Up 8, under 7 minutes to go, and so far on this drive, instead of being conservative and just giving it to Cook and working the clock, and they're giving it to the freshman quarterback, and they're going after that Ole Miss defense.
I wonder if they'll keep doing it, or if he might begin to milk some play clock a little bit more now. And they flip it around the end. Whitfield bangs down to the 15. It's going to be 3rd down. Look at those Rebels defenders just kind of slowly walking back to the center of the field. It's 2nd down here, and they're beginning to kind of pull back on the tempo now, use some more play clock. Cook yards forward. He's near the marker.
The battle in the trenches on this side of the ball has been pretty intense. They're going to come up a little bit short. At this point, it's about who's in the best shape and who's able to keep their wits and battle through that fatigue.
He is stuffed. Stopped short. Cook. No gain there. It'll be 4th down. A.J. Moore, the nickel, flew in there. So Jimbo, a decision to make here. Well, not happy they didn't make the first down. I think he was expecting to make the first down.
I think you got to kick the field goal, don't you? Make it a 2-possession game.
Well, Aguayo trying to make it a 6th field goal, which, if good, would give him a school record for field goals in the game. A bunch of guys share that record, including his big brother.
You got to kick it.
So your brother's an all-world kicker. You come in, you replace him as a true freshman, and you go out and you break a school record, perhaps, for field goals in your debut. The quarterback's not the only guy that's gotten off to a good start tonight for Florida State in their career. And if Aguayo can't put it through, still a 1-score game. This one from 31. This guy, unlike his big brother, doesn't kick off. Just a field goal specialist at this point in his career. So the leg is fresh. He's had a steady nerve. That one is not the prettiest, but it looks just fine on the score sheet. May have been tipped at the line, kind of knuckled through in a line drive, but 6 for 6. And the Noles go up 11 in the final 5 minutes.
It did look like somebody got a hand on it. It might have been Tony Bridges, #1. He got up in the air. Definitely tapped there by Bridges.
Seminoles up 11, but they were once down by 22 in the second quarter. If they win this game, it's the largest comeback victory in school history, surpassing, Kirk, the game you saw when that man brought him back at Louisville on a Thursday night.
Yeah, that became really a year-long trend, getting down. I was standing on the sideline at Papa John's on that Thursday night and watched Jameis bring him back.
They scored in their last 9 possessions. The faces may change, but the culture in this program is such that Fisher said it. We heard him in the locker room before the game. 60 minutes, 60 minutes. Just keep battling, never give up. 7 straight regular season games. They've trailed at halftime to come back and win. Didn't do it in the bowl game, but think about that. Well, 7 straight in regular season.
Yeah, and they were down 28-6 in this game. Think about that. It's one thing to preach that 60 minutes, but now all of a sudden you're down 28-6. Late in the first half, they scored to make it 28-13. They haven't looked back since, and you're doing that with a freshman quarterback. It's not an accident. It's, as you say, it's part of their culture, part of their belief in what they do. He adjusts as well as anybody in the country.
Final 5 minutes. Kelly swarmed under again as the protection breaks down, and that man again, DeMarcus Walker.
Yeah, there's a little twist off to the left, but just Walker again beating his man one-on-one.
Kelly looking for Adebayo down the sideline, and here comes a flag. It'll be interference. He was covered by Trey Marshall. That's a break for the Rebels.
Yeah, because I don't think he had a chance to make a catch on this ball. There's Charles Kelly. Speaking of adjustments, this defense has played like a different defense.
Defense number 20
in this second
15
half.
yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
I think you're right. This would have been a hard time completing this.
This gets back to the defensive back not even turning. How that almost attracts the call. He threw the left arm. His head isn't looking back. His eyes aren't looking at the ball. That's what attracts the penalty.
I'm going to check what the school record for penalties is. That's their 15th. Again, throwing downfield, almost intercepted. McFadden got his hands up in front of Lodge.
Interesting decision there by Kelly. Second time in a row he goes to his left. Back into the boundary. And remember, Ingram, let me circle him here. Ingram has been up here, has been the target, but they have a safety back behind him to help.
This time he dumps it off short to Judd, but he is wrestled down for no gain. It'll be 3rd and long. Matthew Thomas on the stop.
Charles Kelly had a defense that was confused and on its heels and had some mental errors. Made some adjustments and have been in a better position. They are now playing with these safeties back behind to help out their man-to-man coverage.
They need 10, Kirk. You'd have to believe Freeze would go for it if they don't get this first down. Unless they lose big yardage here.
You almost have to.
Louder than it's been all night. Kelly working back far side. Receiver broke off the route. It's 4th and 10.
See, it's such a hard thing for Hugh Freeze to call these plays without tempo and without Florida State looking over the sidelines and being confused. I mean, this is slow and methodical, and it's very different trying to execute against Florida State in this kind of scenario than when they're looking over to get the call and they're not quite lined up and then you snap the ball. This is just take your time, and a lot of times when it's that case, the better athletes usually win.
Feels like last gasp for a team that was once up 22.
And an open man at the bottom here.
They spotted it, Kirk. You're exactly right. There were 2 receivers and only McFadden on that entire side of the field. Wide eyes of Fisher says it all. 4th down to come back. With the defensive timeout, Rebels need 10 on 4th down. And you circled DeMarcus Walker coming out of the starting blocks. Well, they jumped offside. It's a free play for actually a whistle before the snap. A couple Noles were across.
Ball start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Drawn off Javon Patterson. Freeze incredulous.
Nani's right across the ball.
You saw more encroachment than a false start. Center did rock back.
Well, they called it on the left. I think they called that on the left guard, though.
In any case, the chore just got tougher. 15 yards needed to keep the ball and keep hope alive.
Kelly better be ready to move the launching point here, because you're going to see Walker come after him and the rest of that defensive line. They can pressure a quarterback with Sweat and Walker and company.
Kelly delivers behind the receiver. Catch made, first down. Stringfellow just held on.
He's trying to give it a back shoulder fade, but the ball is way underthrown. And how about that? How about that? They're going to take a look at it, which is probably the right thing to do, considering that was the game.
Absolutely.
The ruling on the field of a completed pass is under review.
I just was wondering if he was sitting out of bounds when he caught it.
Remarkable that he reached down and
yeah, it was a great catch, but was his he looks like, I think he's still up.
yeah, but the knee hits as he collects the ball. Did he have control of the ball before the knee hit out of?
His left foot is down, but like let's
is a matter of inches.
That's why you're up here, my friend. What do you have?
Right now, looking at this play, I think it's going to stand, and the reason is because of what you said. His left foot is up, and he has the ball. I don't think there's enough to reverse this. I think they're going to go with a call on the field, but again, that's up to replay. It's very, very close.
How about the effort with the game on the line by Stringfellow?
Yeah, the outside of his foot is on the ground.
The side of his left foot.
The question is he have control before the shin lands out of bounds? That's what the question for Gary Brown.
That's what Gary's got to rule on. This is a tough one for him.
And by the way, as you said, the chances for Ole Miss basically hang in the balance.
Yeah, that was it.
Play.
This is it.
He's got it there. It really is bang bang.
Yeah, but he had possession of the ball from the time he touched it to the end. He didn't bobble it. He had possession of the ball all the way through.
Charles Kelly running in there trying to lobby the official.
By theory, Dave, wouldn't he have possession as soon as he caught the ball?
By theory, he would, because it doesn't get juggled, okay? But this is very, very close. But to me, it's so close it's going to stand. But again, I'm not the replay official.
How easy is it to make that call on the Florida State sideline? There were about 25 people over there lobbying the official from the Big 12.
The interesting thing is you really screen that out when you're making that call. You're oblivious to it. This is a tough one for replay.
Like I said, he was trying to throw that back shoulder where it was a much easier catch. He just ended up throwing it down low. I'm shocked that Stringfellow was able to go down and make the catch.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. Completed pass.
17 yards on 4th and 15, and Freeze's team still has some breath here.
Remember, again, they scored in 47 seconds, a minute 46, 2:19, 1:56, 1:45. They can score in a blink of an eye. All 3 timeouts remaining, which they'll want to hold until their defense is back out there if they score.
Judd takes the pitch, stutter steps, short gain.
Not only does it give them a first down and keep them in the game, now you have a better chance of tempo. Again, tempo is where they can get after a defense and make them lose that aggressiveness.
Kelly, protection breaks down again. He's dropped again. DeMarcus Walker one more time. Can you have a better game as a pass rusher?
I don't think so. That was, and Walker gets his 4th sack, but the secondary also deserves a lot of credit for being able to come up with great coverage. Kelly wanted to throw it. He wanted to get rid of it. There's nowhere to throw the ball.
4.5 sacks for the man who had 10.5 a year ago. 3rd and 16. Working down the sidelines to Lodge, intercepted by McFadden. And that could do it. Pressured again. A third pick for Kelly to go with a fumble. That one just out of desperation.
Yeah, McFadden is a long corner that's into the boundary. 6'2", 198 pounds. He just didn't get a whole lot on that. The pressure off to his right. I don't know if that impacted him or affected him in any way. It was Derwin James coming in with the ball well underthrown. And McFadden again, who's been in position a number of times. And what I love is he turns and finds the ball. That time he's able to hold on to the interception. Remember, the one time he had an interception in the end zone and Metcalf knocked it away from him. That time he obviously gets it.
So the Noles up 11. Just trying to put the finishing touches on the biggest comeback in school history. Dalvin Cook breaks free. And will just slide down inbounds at midfield. And is limping off. And that is not a great sign. This is a man that battled ankle and hamstring problems all of last year. This may be a cramp, but he's going to head to the sidelines.
Yeah, going to check out. He's up to 91 yards running the football, but of course we've talked all night about how they've used him out of the backfield. 7 catches, 101 yards. That's
clearly felt something as he was in the open field and just went right down.
After last year, that Florida State staff, anytime he comes over to the sideline, they're very concerned.
Quez Patrick hammers forward. Huge theme all around college football. High profile programs with freshman quarterbacks debuting. We saw Jalen Hurts. Hurts so good, by the way, was the headline in Alabama the next day. 4 total touchdowns. Shane Buechele looks like a future star. Got some help from Swoops in the situational play. Jacob Eason of Florida. There's a decision to be made there, isn't there?
Yeah. If I were to rank them on their first game, I'd say Francois 1, Hurts 2, Buechele 3, and Eason 4. And those top 3, you couldn't imagine a better start to your career as a freshman than those 3.
Exciting times in college football. These new faces making instant impacts. You wonder how some of these quarterbacks, Kirk, arrive in college football to play at a high level against good opposition in their very first games. I mean, I guess the training begins in 5th, 6th grade now.
Yeah, it really does. These guys work in the 7-on-7 camps or year round. I think the quarterback position, more than any other position in college football, the development is just incredible.
And Kirk, with this big showcase game, ACC versus SEC, we could put a period on the Power 5 records in the first week. And all the folks who say the SEC gets too much hype and too much credit will point to this.
Yep.
7-7 start. There were some bad losses. Obviously, there were some losses, games like this where the SEC team was not the favorite. They did challenge tough non-conference competition, but the Pac-12 and the SEC often looked upon as the 2 deepest conferences, struggling a bit on the one-loss record.
Before everybody says you can read into that and say, okay, the SEC is terrible. It's 1 week. It's a terrible start collectively for the conference. I mean, they're used to winning most of the games that they play in the non-conference. I think it's a combination of these other conferences getting better. I think the Big Ten is getting a lot better. I think the Pac-12 has been better. I think the Big 12 has depth. I think the SEC isn't as powerful as it once was back in 06, 07, 08. So I think you have to be careful of a knee-jerk reaction after 1 week, but it's all we have to go by right now.
Wisconsin beating LSU was massive, but the level of competition for the Big Ten teams, for example, not very high.
No.
Ditto for the Big 12. Good news is Cook is back in there. They fake it to him, though, and Francois just rolls around, breaks free. And the freshman slides down a heady decision. He has really killed this Rebels defense throwing and running tonight.
Yeah, look at the smile. Wow. Amazing what 3.5 hours will do. Chris, who would be your top 5 after the opening weekend?
Top 5 teams?
Yeah.
You hit me in the last minute here.
I'll give you mine. Let you think about it. Right?
I put Alabama number 1, Clemson 2.
I got Alabama 1. I'd put Florida State 2. I'd put Clemson at 3. I'd put Ohio State at 4. And I'd put Houston at 5.
Wow.
I'm not going by preseason polls. I'm going by what we watched. That'd be my top 5.
This is a night they'll never forget in the Seminole Nation. It looked like a hapless start. Cook drops the ball going for an easy touchdown. 11 penalties, 22-point deficit. And in his hometown, in his first. And a charged up defense lead a comeback. Walker out of his mind as a pass rusher tonight. Jimbo was talking about defense before this game, and now we get a taste of why.
Yeah, and how about Walker's performance? And again, we're going to talk a lot about Jimbo and Francois, but you also have to talk about Charles Kelly and the adjustments that defense made. Looked like a different team for the first half to the second half, and how well they played after having some mental